everybody.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
It's Friday.
It's Friday, baby.
That's what's up.
It's Friday. We just had some good food.
Also, it's late.
That is late.
Here.
Yes. Here in Japan.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah, Japan. That's where we are. Tokyo.
What's up, everyone? Oh, and real quick, if you're joining or you're seeing us on here, the best place to join for us to be able to actually see you the best.
Yes, is YouTube.
Comments is YouTube. So go
come on the YouTube.
YouTube Philosopher. That's where we can see you the best. So if you're on like my personal profile or something like that, if you want us to actually see what you're saying and not wait till after, jump on the YouTube or the Facebook page. But YouTube's where you get the most features.
Okay, so it looks like my Facebook page works.
Hey, what's up, Nin? Good to see you. Good to see you.
All right, just not private.
Janator.
We can't see your comments on private streams.
Hey, what's up, Omega?
Hey, Nin.
What's
Whoa.
up, Colby?
Welcome, Quail. Can I just say that? Like,
yeah, you could definitely say that.
He's Viet.
Definitely. We can.
Yeah.
We don't know too
Friday,
much of
that's
it,
what
but
I
we
said.
know enough.
I know a little bit.
I'd
like a pho and a goiku.
Hey, welcome.
Oh,
China-nator.
cool. Okay, China-nator.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, we're coming in. All right, so yes, we're getting this serviced out now, so it's actually picking up some steam.
Cool.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, welcome everybody. So
welcome.
What's the name of this stream? What would you name it?
I named it Mermaid Madness.
Oh, Mermaid Madness. Okay, well that's the topic.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna be talking about. Maybe some people already understand what exactly you mean by that. Mermaid Madness. What are you going to talk about?
Well, I mean, yeah. So for those who don't know, that there's been a bunch of people on the internet who have been complaining / discussing this new, I guess you could say, mermaid movie, the replacement of Ariel in the, I guess you could say, Disney version of the live action. And some people are, saying, oh, well, why did they replace the old character with someone who's black and all this other stuff? And that's really the distraction element. That's not really the core issue. That's a divisive issue that what I ended up noticing becoming more material with the promotion of the film. In other words, the framing of its promotion. That's where really we started to see some interesting sophistry emerge. But we're going to talk a little bit about that and
about it.
Sounds
great. I love talking about it.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the ridiculousness, the way that Disney and other corporations manipulate people.
Just people, right? These are people's perspective. Yeah, right. There are some people, would you say, deliberately try to manipulate for a specific reason, right? Creating propaganda. It's deliberate. And I would argue that's in the movie. I'd actually be curious to watch it just to know. Yeah. I don't care I could care less about a race swap when it comes to a character. Like I grew up watching there's this movie Cinderella with this girl. Yeah, Brandy. Mm-hmm. She's a really good singer.
Yeah.
And she's African American and the prince was a Chinese dude.
Right.
So I just it was such a shock to me too. But I enjoyed the movie. I mean, aesthetically it was fun, and I mean it was just going through the same story. So frankly, I would just be curious to see are they just doing the whole story verbatim? What is the greater thing that they want to instill ideologically? That's always the biggest thing to me. So again, I don't care about the race swap. I just care what is the propaganda here, right? What are the ideas trying to be instilled on what is Disney's market? Children. So.
Right. And a big part of this, too, is recognizing that all of this is going to revolve around what is, actually being done with kids' minds and what's the end goal. Right. So there's a lot of things we're going to unpack with this because so many people have this assumption right off the bat.
I grew up on Disney. So
right.
I
did too.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lot of examples from our pre-libertarian philosophical moments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is something that there's a lot to unpack with because the reality is that young kids are impressionable and many corporations and boards are sitting there and thinking about how they can reach young people, and the sooner that they can get some presence with these kids, the sooner they can make an impact and get customers for life, because that is just business in terms of these particular corporations that are trying to specifically do outreach to kids and get kids hooked on their products, right? That's how it goes. Like the whole goal is to get customers for life with these people.
And I have to say, that's not like a bad act in and of itself. That's not an unethical act. It's so the thing that's important is for parents, right? Parents who choose to have children, who are there to be responsible, watch over them. They're the ones who are kind of like filtering what's going on and like trying to have that critical perspective of like, okay, I see this company is advertising whatever media to my child or whatever product. I'm going to look at the ingredients, or I'm going to watch it before my child does, so I can like really assess what's going on.
Yeah. It's definitely something to think about. And I think it transcends, obviously, this particular film, the idea that you should actually think about what it is that you're showing kids or showing your kids and having them emulate, having them look up to, because a lot of that's unchallenged. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems in this whole discourse, is that so few people are actually taking a step back and saying, wait, forget about black, white, who cares? What are you actually getting your kids to try to emulate as a role model, right? That's the whole thing. Is like, wait, what are the virtues, the character traits, the actions that this person is doing? Those are the things you should be asking yourself about, not just simply whether or not, oh, my kid can resonate with some character because they happen to have light skin or dark skin or whatever. You should be sitting there saying, what's the actual moral or ethics of the story? What kind of behaviors are they showing? And then kids are going to then take that on themselves and start to model that and mimic that.
Right.
What type of treatment are they going to start having with others and of themselves because of those labels and those projections that are done with the movie? And I think the thing that really set me off, and like what set off my little semi-viral message, I guess you could say, or screenshot of talking about the movie and then like talk about Rush Hour and stuff like that, was just watching the Good Morning America coverage of this. So I think that's kind of the way to start is to look at what the promotion.
I haven't even seen it, but I just laughed because I've seen some clips already.
So we're just gonna pull this up real quick. We're gonna show this on the side. Let's take a look here and just see what it is that they are showing with this Good Morning America clip, talking about the new Ariel. So we'll start there and then we'll pack it with some of the comments and things like that.
Part of that world.
Oh, you have to read it. You can't actually. So anyone listening,
They can hear.
no, I'm saying you can't read the words earlier.
Oh.
I think she's round.
Does she look like you? How does she look like you?
Well, she's broke. Well, she has brown skin.
Ooh.
The camera sound.
She's like me.
Right. So every message is like, she's like me.
I know, right?
I want to know how else she's like you, like beyond
What do you
skin
think
color.
about
like, is she
the Ariel
nice?
that you just saw?
Is she,
I like
she like
her.
Why?
She's beautiful. And I don't know how she's singing so beautiful and lightly. And yeah.
She's beautiful and she looks like what? She looks like you.
Yeah, she's brown like you. We're gonna go see it when it comes out in the theater.
Yes!
So we're going to see The Little Mermaid when it comes out.
I mean, it's like you're saying,
High five.
kids are so impressionable.
Right.
It's just exactly. I mean, the parent is asking leading questions, They're not saying, what did you think of the movie, right? An open-ended question. They're like, does she look like you? Does she look like you?
Right. So
Does she look like you? What's your gender identity? Are you he, she today? Like, that's leading question, right? That's
right. So
that's not asking a child out of curiosity, right? And beyond that, right?
Right. So it to me, of course, you know, beyond the obvious, right, that the parents are coaching kids to like, you know, focus on the race element. The thing that, you know, is obviously the most concerning is the first thing that's going on is reinforcing the beauty aspect, right? And saying, of course, the talent thing, whatever. But it's this whole idea of starting to
how she sounds, how she looks.
Right. Wrap yourself into,
looks,
I look
sound.
like this. This is me. This is me. And it's like, again, we're just focused on the psychological aspect here. That's all we're doing. We're focusing on what's happening psychologically. So you're trying to have a child mirror themselves based on this imagery and based on just these superficial characteristics. Like, okay, that's me. I have this skin color. And it's like, okay, that doesn't tell you anything about their qualities of character.
Can I just point out Ariel's wearing a bikini? Anyone?
Well, and yeah. No,
so you're having little girls like emulate this and just okay.
Right. So it's one of these things where you can even just seeing right there. Again, it's kids are very impressionable. So whatever you gear them toward and whatever you have them focus on, right, they're going to start to push on that and adopt that. And the more you reinforce this idea that, oh, she's like, because I'm this way and oh, she's beautiful. And it's like, okay, well, now you're saying to be valuable or to be good, I have to be beautiful.
You
right?
have to look and sound good, right? She's so beautiful and she looks like me, right? It's all about looks. And then also how she sounds. She has a lovely, soft singing voice.
Yeah.
What are politicians, right? They try to look good and sound good, but that's about it, right? While they're trying to like, you know, connive of more ways to steal from you.
Right. Or like, you know, like you see who was Elizabeth Warren, was it, where she's like, I'm having a beer, right? It's the signaling of like,
or Kamala Harris.
I'm like you, Kamala Harris.
Joe Biden ice cream, Kamala Harris chicken wings.
Right. It's like, yeah, like, oh
like
yeah, see, I eat food too. Or like you see Mark Zuckerberg.
I am human.
He's like, I'm grilling meats.
Food.
Yeah, I'm grilling meats. See, I'm like you. It's this whole idea of trying to say, I'm like, see, I'm you. I'm
you. Normal. I'm one of you. I'm one of you. I'm not your ruler.
Right. So
just pay your taxes.
Now again, kids are sweet. Obviously, it's beautiful to see these kids' excitement. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, in and of itself. It's the manipulation of this, obviously, to stir up the controversy and to get people to ignore for the moment that they're repackaging this old story. They're just, you know, rehashing it. It's, you know, nothing new. It's been done a million times. Mm-hmm. They're just changing the race of the character and hoping that you ignore for a fact that this story is not exactly a story of something to admire in the first place. And a big part of my problems, obviously, because, you know, politically, philosophically, we have a lot to say when it comes to royalty, monarchy, government, things like that. Having a child be like, I'm a princess or a prince or I'm a king or a queen. The whole focus on that is about power fantasy and being like, yes, I should be a ruler and I should be worshipped because I have beauty and because I have status. It's not about whether you work hard to achieve whatever it is your goals are or have talents or provide people with value and things like that. It's all about the superficiality of I'm
or
beautiful.
Just having virtue,
right?
You know, being a kind person and
right.
You know,
Exactly. So
advice, helping people.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's really kind of wild. It's really kind of wild to see people lose sight of that just because intentionally, of course, in this framing, they're using race as the baiting element and to be like, oh, well, if you don't like it, you must be a racist. Right. It's like, and you're just like, okay, there's the same old stuff. You're rehashing. Like, why is there not, you know, a new, better plot or this or that? You're just going to do, you know, same old swaps. And that's
there's a lot to unpack here.
That's the goal, right?
Cool.
They want you to fight over it. Now, taking a look at the comments just really quick here. There's something that kind of stuck out to me because there's a follow-up with it. So there's this person
funny comment at the top. Sorry, you skip right past it.
I gotta skip past it because that's other focus. But there's this person, some blue check named Amy Jackson. It's all public, so whatever. Just, you know, show post.
Okay, Amy. Sorry.
Amy says the only people mad are grown YT, aka white adults. There's been lots of children, white children shown the movie and not once said anything about her being black. They were just excited to watch Little Mermaid. My daughter only noticed one thing. Now here's the kicker.
Okay,
right?
I have never seen. Sorry, I have never seen YT. I was like, is that an acronym? Young
white,
young thug,
yeah.
Thug adults. No, oh, it's white. Why did you just say white? Why is that a censored word?
It is. It's a censored word, so you have to be careful.
You can't say why.
You can, but it's sometimes it will trigger it. Yes.
You can't say a color.
Can't say color.
Gotta be worried about saying a color.
You'll sometimes have issues. So it's
Wow.
so it's interesting because again, this is someone, and not only did she say that, she posted to her TikTok, right? So she's not just trying to, trying with her 2 cents saying, oh, you're only mad about this movie if you're a white adult, right? She's also trying to put on this little show here to drive some traffic to her channel.
Sorry, can I just pause?
Yeah.
In this whole clip on Good Morning America, they're like brown, brown, brown. They never said black.
They never
so
said-
first of all, Amy, it's a brown. Okay, you're a bigot. It's not black.
right. Yeah.
Sorry,
they're shifting the colors on us, which
I
is funny because
seeing
it's like you
SJWs
don't
fight
see,
each other. Okay, all right.
Bollywood
go
here.
on.
So right. So it's again, just re-emphasizing the whole goal is to use race as this bait thing to make it seem more important than it is, to be like, oh, see, you're a bigot, you're racist if you're just not wanting to see this movie, even though it's like, well, maybe it's just because you don't have anything innovative and you're just like, well, maybe we'll just change the superficial characteristics of a character trope that is in the first place not worthy of emulation and adoration, right? A woman saying, oh, in order to be worthy of a guy's love, I need to like go see some like crazy witch octopus woman and lose my tongue so I can get feet to try to win him over with my beauty, and then I can become royalty and live on land, right? Like these are not exactly the most admirable things to be showing for 3 and 4 year olds and 5-year-olds to be like, yeah,
well,
this,
it literally
this is
was
what you should
like
model your life
plastic
after.
surgery.
Yeah.
Get plastic surgery
Right.
to attract a man. Like I never thought of that because I
It is.
watched it and I'm like, look at this stuff.
Isn't it
Like, but you're a kid.
Yeah.
Like you said, children are impressionable. That's why it's a job of parents, right? Or guardians around them, responsible guardians around them to like help protect children from predators.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's ultimately Disney has, they've always had that
They have a
tinge, but
history
it's
of it.
become
a lot of sexual entendres throughout, and frankly, a lot of the topics are inappropriate. A lot of the topics with like Disney movies, the ones that I watch, like each of the princess movies, it's really violent. There's like murder involved. I don't think that's something like a 6-year-old should be watching alone.
Well, again, when you look at the kids they're putting down too, these are not like 10-year-olds stuff. These are very young kids that they're showing. There's the 3 to 6 arena, and again, that's a lot to unpack and process for a little kid like that, and they're most likely to internalize the most superficial aspects, right? Which is, oh, okay, I got to be beautiful. I need to win a prince. I need to win a man, and it's like, and at first people just gloss over this thinking, oh, it's just benign, whatever. But you don't realize that actually takes on its own type of psychological backdrop for little kids that they later on get to have those entitlement complexes and start to think, oh, I have to be beautiful to be accepted. I have to be beautiful to get a man. I'm not anything without a guy. I have to modify my body to get a guy. And again, some people might blow us off. It's like, oh, that's so silly. You're reading too much into it. It's like, no, that's the literal
I can
modus
definitely
operandi
speak
of
to
the story.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that experience growing up. For sure. Like, and even like, the biggest things I remember from The Little Mermaid, when I walk away from it and from all those years ago, I haven't seen it since I was like, I don't know, it's been like 20, 30, like 30 years.
30, 40 years.
Well, 50, 70 years since I was a child.
Right.
But so like the biggest thing you will remember when you're a kid, right, is like the most impressionable stuff. So for me, it was like, okay, she has red hair, her outfit, you really remember. You remember the prince, you remember like the singing. For me, one thing I like she collected all this stuff and I related to that because I'm like, oh, she likes all this stuff, isn't it neat? And I just remember that song whenever I like collect stuff. Anyway, but just thinking about it now, I remember like some scenes that I really couldn't process at the time, but now just thinking of again, like, I don't know if you ever do this when you like think of stuff that you went through as a kid and then now you think of it as an adult and you kind of like get a chill or you have like you feel spooked because you're like, oh my God, how did I not get it at the time? But some of the things I remember was like, for example, like being so young, most of the movie is wrapped up in her focusing on her looks. She was like bullied at one point, and I remember like a scene, I don't exactly recall what exactly happened, but I remember like her bra came off, like her shell bra, right? There's no strap in the back. I mean, it's just, 2 shells. Actually, I don't think there's even straps. It's literally just 2 shells, right? Or am I wrong? Okay, whatever. But I just remember coming off and she's like so embarrassed, right? There's a lot of themes of shame, being embarrassed, not being good enough, not being rather pretty enough. Like she wasn't shamed because she punched somebody in the face wrongly who was innocent, right? She felt ashamed because she's like, look at all those girls. They're so popular. They're so pretty. And me, I'm just so alone and I'm not pretty, And then like the lesson is not develop virtue. It's the lesson is like, go, get some legs, get on land and find this prince. Find a prince who's has power and everyone bows when he comes in the room. Like that's not even like a focus verbally, but it's all subconsciously there, So like as I even recall it, I realized like how much of that imagery just stays in your subconscious, the image of looking off and seeing a guy you like with another girl, right? Because that was in the movie. The prince like goes with a woman who's like, she takes her voice, right? Ursula takes her voice.
Yeah.
And
mimics
then
a pretty girl to
mimics a pretty girl.
Eric,
and the prince actually goes and is like, hey,
it's like,
pretty
look
girl,
at look at
pretty
that.
voice,
Right.
you sound good and you look good,
Yeah.
like that duo, I guess.
Right.
So that's what it shows for her often is that, she's like chasing looks instead of, frankly, someone just valuing her because she was a good person, like she had flounder, she had a little crab, like it's fun. Yeah. So
yeah,
I just thought that was really interesting, like the tropes.
Exactly.
And some people may argue, well, you're saying like, oh, she was a good person, so she gets the prince in the end. But you see, here's the even more insidious part is the authoritarian nature of it all. The monarchic programming, right? Why is everyone like, oh my God, Queen Elizabeth II, she was such a kind woman.
Yeah.
She's like my grandma. No, dude.
Yeah.
Your grandma's nice probably and cooks you good food. But this lady, yeah, you talk about banking family, enslavement of humanity.
Right. Welfare queen.
Generations.
Covering up.
Comes from a line of family that is murderous. Will murder their own like nephews and, like family just for power. So this is what's all wrapped up in whether it's Ariel, it's any Disney princess movie. I mean, especially prolific in the 90s, 80s, right? These stories of like you said, power, delusions of grandeur, just because you're beautiful,
right?
Just because you're sexy, you should rule over everybody and everyone should bow and be like, Your Highness, Your greatness, your liege, take my foot. I'm going to cut my leg off. Here you go.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
that just instills, exactly. That instills people the conditioning necessary in a population to be like, okay, yeah, this politician rules over me. Oh, you're so great. Oh my God. Oh, Biden. Oh, Trump. Oh, like
you look
whoever.
So good, Obama.
Like, oh, thank you for saving us. You're my savior. And basically just excusing all the power that these people have over you and just thinking that that's normal, that these people have such immense, tremendous control and power over your entire life. And if you don't see that yet, I don't know how to help you, because if you went through the 2020 and 2021, that was as blatant and in your face as it can get when it comes to the nature of government and what government is.
Right.
This entity you're forced to fund, these group of people that you're forced to fund, this corporation.
Right. And I would say that these tropes, you can see a real manifest corollary where this is something you can see actually come out psychologically in real people. So what I'm talking about here is not just simply, theoretical or something like that. No, this is real. And if you want to connect this, think about this very carefully. Think about the Democratic Party. Think about how they present themselves in how they arrange their public appearances, right? The leftist statist paradigm that they present is this idea of we are very proper and we're very PC and we genuflect, when necessary for whatever cultural thing. And as long as we act all beautiful and proper, then we can steal from you trillions of dollars. We can go to war. We can, have Raytheon and Lockheed Martin.
And as long as we sound good about it.
Right. As long as we sound good, we can steal from you and rule you. And that's exactly the psychology that you see manifest in reality. If you're American, the Democratic Party, if you're a British person, you see it in the monarchy there. You see how it's like, oh, well, it's okay. They're a tourist attraction. Look how beautiful they are. And that's how come they can steal millions, hundreds of millions of dollars every year, because they're so beautiful. And they're just, look at them.
Look at the prince. Look at the princesses.
Right.
They're so gorgeous. Look at the queen. She was so young and she was so beautiful.
Right.
One of the most beautiful queens we've ever had. So collectivist.
Right.
Meanwhile, you're just being robbed till you're dead.
Yes.
And your family.
So this has these types of programming. They're not benign. It's not something that's just like, oh, whatever. It's a cute kid. It's like, no, it's literally sending kids to be programmed to worship overlords and to project power fantasies in a very dysfunctional, toxic communication, toxic lifestyle. And they're never going to be, the queen or the king, most likely, or even a president or whatever. They're going to just be there like wishing that they had it and then supporting those people because they project their power lust onto them. Like, oh yes, this politician will save me, or this queen, oh, I feel so good when I see her. It's to get that psychology that they wrap themselves up in it. And they identify with it. And by identifying with it, they see themselves as in a oneness with it. And that's the goal.
That's the complex.
The younger that they get them, the more they have a lifetime of psychological association identity. And the more they see it, they say, oh, that's me, it's me, all the way up to, oh, that's me, the president, oh, the queen, oh, that's me too, I'm part of this. And it's like, no, you're not. You're a freaking peasant being stolen from, pillaged from, and being shown all these dysfunctional communication habits that you then have to unpack for the rest of your life and all your toxic relationships of chasing after when you're in your teens, whatever. Oh, I want to go with the hottest guy or hottest girl. And if I'm not, I'm not good enough or whatever. It's horrible. It's actually really horrible, but people don't know this.
Well, it happens in
they gloss over it.
It happens in so many places. You have public school where you have, homecoming, queen and king.
Another
queen and king.
Right. Another mirroring of that psychology. Homecoming, king or queen. Oh, who's the most pretty? Elevate them. Worship them.
And it doesn't matter if they're like a bully.
Right.
Right. Like
sometimes
really
they are
mean.
bullies.
Yeah. Often that can be the case, right? Like with someone who's really, I certainly saw that in public school, definitely. Girls who on this topic developed a princess complex, in my opinion.
Yes.
They're so used to, like, some girls like are, just naturally just, really attractive, right? Whatever it is, like pretty for some reason, or it's just like, right. And I know beauty is subjective, but I'm just saying, like, most people around them think, oh, and they get words like, oh, you're so beautiful, and they get compliments like that. So that can really develop for someone a little princess complex. And then you wrap that up with movies like that. And it's like, oh, now you sing along, like, and now you're really focused on your looks. Now you're like a child who's really focused on looks. And I say this as someone who went through that in middle school, high school. I had a princess complex, to an extent. I bet Jack could tell you.
I had a princess complex.
No, I bet Jack could tell you that he's like, you've probably dated or met girls with a princess complex. And, as you were describing really well earlier, it's like this whole, like you said, just so wrapped up in your looks, constantly making sure you look good, and just really focused on your status. And it's not really about substance. It's not really like about trying to expand your mind or have deeper, more building, connecting relationships with those you really love. Right. Often it's just like, let's flex, let's pose, let's take pictures, let's do it. Like, give me money. And like, I don't know. Like, I met a lot of girls like that. And I myself try to emulate that because I developed and saw often, like, whether it was in movies, like I was sharing with even in Ariel, just realizing now and reflecting back that was itself an association, like just seeing like the guy you like walk away just because the girl's prettier, right? It's just like the constant reinforcement of, looks are what matters, right? And that if you don't have any other message around you, like, that's what would lead you to be all wrapped up into being really superficial. and in your looks.
And status, right? It's both.
Power.
It's both, right? It's
Power,
the
looks,
idea that
beauty.
if you're not a part of the elite, if you're not part of the in group, then you're unworthy.
Move over, or bow, lick my boots.
Right. So I just want to piggyback and rope it back to that one TikToker who had commented on the video because she, in saying, "Oh, it's just white people are mad about this, whatever nonsense."
Is this the same lady?
Yeah. She posted this TikTok with her daughter, and the funny part is I don't think that she realized it, but her daughter kind of told on her a little bit with her response. So let's just watch this really quick because it's really interesting. So she says this, Amy Jackson, she's like, representation is important. The only people upset about this is grown adults. And she says, YT, white adults. So let's see what happened in her little TikTok video when she tries to show her daughter this clip.
It's the new Little Mermaid movie. Let's see what you think. This is the new one.
Yeah.
See if you want to go see it. Are you ready?
What is it?
It's the new Little Mermaid movie.
What time?
Do you know the Little Mermaid? This is the new movie. They're making it with real people instead of like a cartoon. It's going to be made with real people.
Oh.
See what you think.
Yeah, so at least she's neutral, at least at the beginning.
You see her? Here she comes. Oh.
Who is that? Is that Ariel?
Yeah.
Ariel?
Yeah. That's the real Ariel.
Oh.
Kids. She's just playing with her tongue, and it's all purple from candy. That's so funny.
Excited? Yeah?
She doesn't have red hair.
She doesn't have red hair. It's a little bit dark, but that's okay because it still
That
has.
was it.
Yeah, that's just the trailer.
Wait, can you just
See,
pause?
it's a little bit red. It's just not the bright red. It's just like a dark red.
But that's not real Ariel's hair.
Yeah, it's just a little bit different red. It's the new Little Mermaid movie.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I don't know if you caught that.
She literally
This
said it's
mom-
not red.
The mom literally is like,
And then she contradicted herself at the end and said it is red. Up is down, everybody. Left is right.
right. Well, I think it's
Right
just because
is wrong.
it's darker in there. But no, the thing is, the real tell on it is this little girl who is shown this video already has this idea in her head that Ariel's supposed to have bright red hair.
Right.
So she already has this. It's
true.
showing the impressionability of kids. This is showing how
Yeah.
already she has
Right.
this
So
idea
deep.
of, oh, okay, Ariel's supposed to have bright red hair. And the mom's sitting there trying to be like, oh, see, this is all great. But even this little kid's like, wait, that's not the real Ariel. And she hasn't even, she's not, as far as I can see, she's not doing this because of any malicious or bigoted intent or anything. She's just recognizing, oh, okay, this is not the original character I'm used to. And yet she's this
I'm pretty
little
sure
freaking
this
kid.
little girl is not bigoted. She's literally a child. Do you see how her mom with tattoos is pulling her in? And she's like, make a video for everybody. And then
Right.
she's like, I want to play. I just licked like a purple lollipop. Look how freaking purple her tongue is. It's hilarious. She has teeth missing. She is a child. And she just like should be out playing.
Well, to me, again, what's really funny is that the mom.
Sorry.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
When she paused, she was like, oh, yes, the hair is not red, but representation is important. Heart. What kind of abstract moral assertion is that?
Right.
What? Representation of murderers? Representation of, so just representation for the sake of representation. Okay, so rapists are not getting enough representation right now. We need to make
Right.
sure rapists get more representation. We need to go into their story. Okay, we need to like help people humanize rapists, serial rapists. Okay, people who totally dehumanize people for the act. Right. Right. That's insane. Like,
Right.
that is
Representation
not
as a singular
morality. That is
Mhm.
not an
Right.
ethical principle that is consistent and can be followed consistently without justifying commonly agreed on immoral acts like rape and murder.
Right. And again, even with that kind of like hyperbole of just saying like representation of anything, if we're just saying, oh, the only variable that matters is representation of representation, whatever. It's just nonsense here that this mom's gaslighting about the color hair and that the daughter already has a preconceived idea of like, oh, the traditional character looks this way. And she is already recognizing, oh, it's a change. Right. So it's showing that this mom who's like, the only people who care about this and this problems are adult white people, and her own daughter's like, hey, something's off here, right? It's literally her daughter, her
right.
little
That's
kid.
a good point.
That was what I was bringing it for. That was the
She's
reason I brought
not
it
a
up.
grown adult.
She's not a
her
grown
own
adult.
daughter contradicts her assertion that
Yes.
the only people upset,
Right, and confused, like, what's going on?
like, but her daughter literally, like, it ends with the frame with her daughter looking down and being like, huh? Because her mom just said, no, it's a different kind of red.
Right.
And then her daughter's like, what do you mean? You just said it's bright orange and it's not red. So, but it is red, Mom. I'm confused.
Right. It's the iconic hair. It's like, of
sad.
course, a kid who's seen Ariel in some other ways is wondering about the iconic hair. Now, again, it could just be as dark or whatever in the shot. Doesn't matter. The point is that it doesn't take someone who's just like bigoted or angry to notice changes and to notice like, oh, okay, this is different. Okay, what's different? Right. Yeah. It doesn't take some adult with some prejudice to do that. So, this is what happens when you get to the point of absurdity where you boil down everything to just one variable, one characteristic, and you're just like, oh, that's race, all that matters. And if you don't agree with this, then you must be a bigot. Right. It's like there's other reasons to be like, okay, I don't want to see the same story again and again. Do you have any new movies, anything new, interesting, a new character, whatever? Like they're just trying to grease the old stories, the old scripts, and just remake on one thing so they can keep getting audiences because they don't have anything. That's the point. Hollywood doesn't have anything.
We just watched what was the movie? Nope, or was it? What was it called?
Nope. Nope was great.
Oh, it's just called Nope, right?
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah. And
leading black cast, awesome movie.
It's directed by Keenan from Keenan and Peele. Or not Keenan. I mixed them up.
You just
with
combined
Keenan and Kel. Key and Peele and Keenan and whoops, different bros / friends.
Yeah, Jordan Peele was the one who did it.
Sorry.
Yeah, Jordan Peele.
Yeah, it was such a good movie. I mean,
great movie.
Pretty much, I think everyone was black, right? I don't.
Not all actors, but the leads were in terms of the protagonists.
At least all the main characters.
The protagonists were.
I remember.
Yeah, the brother and sister.
But it was fun because, like, the thing about it wasn't, hey, let me put a bunch of black people and rehash a white people story. Like, I don't even want to say black or white. Like, you could say African American, you could say Irish, you could say British culture, right? What is it? Hans Christensen? Is that
Gretel and
I don't know, wherever. Hansen. American, British, German, but whatever. So it's like, to me, I think it's more exciting to like actually create your own story, like in Nope, like Jordan Peele, like he's actually bringing stories to life about his own culture that he comes from, like that wherever he grows up, African American. That's a unique experience, right? Just like an Asian American movie would be unique too, but it'd be weird to be like, okay, to represent. Like, I think representation is then better if you actually like show the actual culture and the consciousness, the philosophy that you were passed down. Like, not just, hey, I'm Asian and look, I'm in a movie, right? But like you're just, being a traditionally like British character or whatever, like it just wouldn't make sense in terms of, even if you're trying to meet that ideal of representation matters. Don't you think you could do it better by actually being like, hey, let me interview actual African Americans and like create a brand new story that no one's ever heard, a modern story of an African American girl growing up in America, right? Going through like actually like try to like build a cool story about it, right? That and with some moral backdrop to it and some action or something, and some character building. Like that would make more sense to me in terms of representing. If you want to say a people, right? A culture. Is it really just skin color? That's ridiculous. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like it just, especially in Good Morning America, I didn't like how the whole focus was, implanting in these kids this whole focus of her skin color.
Right. That's the core problem.
What do you notice? What's her skin?
Right.
Is she brown like you? She brown like you? What does she look like? Just constantly focused on looks instead of character. It's
just, oh, they look at you, therefore you should emulate them. That's the message, and it's terrible. And I want to bring it back really quick here too to the comments in this video, because there's another set that really made me kind of chuckle a bit. There's this guy. He says,
Someone said nice vape, Jack.
Oh, thank you. I do get the nice ones.
Thanks,
Justin Arnold says here, Arrow could have been green and the kids would still light up like this. Yes, because again, people will bring their kids to watch movies about like animals and cars that are living, or even emotions, right? Like, what was the emotions movie where it's just like a bunch of balls that are emotions in someone's brain? I just forgot the name of it.
The emotions. I know what you're talking about.
Someone's gonna post in the comments.
Pixar.
Right, like literally, you could have characters of again anything. Kids love bright characters that are funny and like kind of jovial, play, whatever. So this Justin says the media just trying to do it does best to make drama to increase their bankroll. Yes, when you're focused on that and you're like, oh, okay, this is all. How dare you deny kids?
He just summarized the whole stream. All right, we're going.
No. So so this is the response that I want to look at, because this really shows the evidence for what we're talking about here. What I'm saying, hey, these kids are having their identities wrapped up into something that's not something that's admirable. So this person responds, whoever Cheyenne Marie is from the internet, says, Justin, do you realize that there's only one colored princess, and that's Tiana? They never use people of color. Little girls of color don't get to relate to most princesses or get to be a main character. It's a huge deal, and now they can be finally included, which should have happened a long time ago. So ignoring just for a quick moment the only character that is Tiana or something like that could be broken down. But the more important part here of what we're focusing on is where they say they don't get to relate to most princesses, right?
Why not? Aren't they human? Aren't they a girl?
No, but that's not what I'm focused on here. Hold on. I want to finish this thought.
Person?
This thing relating to princesses, right? That's what we're talking about. You're saying admire and look up to and become like a princess. You're saying, oh, you should emulate and think of yourself as royalty, as someone who rules others, as someone who should be celebrated just because of your looks and because you have a nice dress. That's the real core issue, is no one's even unpacking the thing that underpins this, that you're saying, hey, representation matters and we should just have representation for whatever. And you're like, wait, are you even thinking about what you're getting kids to model themselves after, and like what kind of virtues that are involved, and what kind of thought processes and what kind of like shaming complexes you're creating in that process, that, oh, you have to be beautiful to be loved. That is the part that is really, to me, sinister. And when you read through these comments and you see what people say, you actually can see the psychological impact evidence. You can see the evidence of what people are actually saying this is doing to kids and how they're responding. And it is consistently about trying to get kids to view themselves as, oh, you got to be royalty. You're a princess. You should be treated as a princess. And that's a huge complex to unpack after they just watch a movie that says, oh, you should change yourself in order to attract a man, and it should be based on your looks. And if you don't have good looks, then you're not worthy enough, right? That's the part that is really destructive. So, all right, back to you on that. I just wanted to really hammer that in because it's so lost.
I think the point about the princesses, though, in and of itself, I think you're just speaking to like, okay, what exactly is this movie about in the story, regardless of people's skin color? And like, that should be what you as a parent, when it comes to like selecting content for your kid to watch, should care about. Is just like, okay, what is the ideas that are being promoted in this movie?
Right.
Because ideas are so much more important. What someone believes has so like actually translates to action more than just superficial looks, like that, real character is actually based on your action. It's not just because you look a certain way,
right.
That doesn't just make you a good person. Just because someone has white teeth and they got plastic surgery and they remove all their wrinkles or whatever, and they have hair plugs and they look good and they keep a tan, doesn't mean they're a good person. And I think what's really insidious about all this programming is people do grow up to associate beauty with good. And too often are way too wrapped up in that. I mean, you take most of the people who vote in America, they're all wrapped up in looks. I mean, I think of this one example with, was it John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon, when they were like running against each other for the presidency. Like, apparently there was a poll done where on radio, Nixon scored higher if it's like just voice. But when it came to John F. Kennedy, like when he was shown on TV, like when they did a TV debate, it would be JFK that would have higher, do better in the polls. So it's just like this idea of like, when you don't have to like look at someone's appearance, you can just like hear what they're saying. It's easier to not get distracted by their looks. But I think often with whether it's like a celebrity activist, right? A lot of what they're trying to do is just like, just hope that you listen to them just for the sake that they're successful and pretty and good at acting or good at singing, So yeah.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, that is, tying to everything that we're saying is that it gets people to start from an early age to just think that looks and beauty equals virtue. Right. And then that translates later on into the political arena. It translates to people saying, oh, okay, well, whoever looks best, that's what I'm gonna vote for. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And it's very toxic, obviously.
Like, I think that's how Obama won.
Yes, Obama was a big part of that.
Smooth looking caramel man.
Right, the way that he spoke.
He was a lawyer, really eloquent at speaking, right? Looks good and sounds good. And sadly, that's how a lot of adults vote.
Well, and that's the idea is
I don't like democracy or
right.
or really, government, but like democracy is just like, okay, anyone can vote and, vote on these laws to alter your, the rest of your life or your kids' lives.
Right. And their whole goal with this programming is that it becomes much easier to control people as they get older because they've been so inundated and so inculcated with these ideas that by the time they're able to participate in a political sense or any, sense of that nature, all they're thinking about really, at least in the subconscious that's driving them more, is just a superficial. They're not philosophical, not thinking like, oh, okay, what actually are they doing? Like, what are the actions they're taking? What are the ramifications of what they're doing? She's like, oh, they looks nice. Obama talks nice, right? Drone striking in the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
Raising taxes on everybody and stuff like that. And with, the Obamacare stuff. Oh, well, he looks good. And that's the sinister element to it all is this young person programming. And that said, it doesn't mean, oh, never watch a princess movie. It's about timing, right? It's about how mature a young person is to be able to talk about and flesh through the ideas, right? So that they're not having those things programmed onto them early and being, visually indoctrinated into be like, oh, yes, this is how I get love.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the real core. It's not so much about like all or nothing, you're good or bad, or, oh, you can't ever have a black mermaid. It's like, no, I don't care. Go make them all you want. I don't give a shit. Like literally, it's about what's being done and the messaging of kids and the adults around them who are focusing on that and pushing that onto kids and making this about, oh, okay, that's what matters, right? Oh, you need to see someone who looks like you. Oh, and then you're validated, right? Oh, someone on the screen, they look similar to your color. Not even like any of the facial characteristics or talents. Just, oh, they kind of look like you. Oh, that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. And then these kids end up growing up to worship politicians. Because like, oh, look, Elizabeth Warren drinks beer. She's me. And
even what you're saying,
yeah,
this is not just leftists, quote unquote, or communists or socialists. You have evangelical Christians who are really wrapped up into princess movies too. You have, conservatives and Republicans who are all into that power complex as well. And that's what's so fascinating, as you become to be an anarchist or a libertarian, like that's what you see is like, oh my gosh, whether it's like this debate about a certain thing, often the untalked about thing in the media is the most important thing that should be talked about, right? It's just like, what is the nature of rule and all this, right? Like there's been such a trend of movies with monarchies or shows with monarchies being so popular. Like what was that one that took craze? There's so many memes. It's like a girl.
Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, Game of Thrones. I've never seen it, but like from what I've heard, it's very violent and bloody. There's sex,
There's sex. Oh my god.
No, I mean like it's I'm not saying that's bad, but it's all like wrapped up in power and like how you gain power and like killing others to like just keep succeeding everyone in the town who's like super poor and dirty coming around you like, oh my gosh, and you like bask in it and you enjoy it, like.
Well, I
bathing
think
in the
that
power.
that pairs well with the discourse, on the rest of mass media in Hollywood, because when you take this constant emulation of government and the FBI, the CIA, and monarchs and kings and queens, and elevating them and kind of deifying them,
right?
And then you also have, anytime business is mentioned virtually in a Hollywood movie, business is associated with crony people like the Wolf on Wall Street or something like that, or evil actions and theft, or bullying people, or mafia actions. They're like, oh, that's just business, right? That's the total picture, is that you have a total picture of, oh, okay, we're going to elevate worship of the state and rulers. We're going to demonize anyone who has virtue and character by providing people a value. And then you have this really toxic generation of young people who have all this horrible model behavior, especially where you have, more than ever, a lot of single parent homes where the parents just like, go watch TV. Oh, go here's your phone. Go sit on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And so that's it. There's no parenting. So who's raising the kids?
Schools, peers,
schools, and TV,
media.
and the media, right? And you could speak to that even yourself about your experiences of being raised in some part by TV.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh. Oh, sure. I mean, if you want to hear, what do you want to hear?
So how, like, in your own impressions, right? Like, did you have a bit of your actual, like, raising essentially being done because of modeling on TV? Because that was like, oh, okay, parents aren't around kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not the only one. There's so many people who, even if they have both parents together, like their parents aren't even divorced or anything like mine were. It's just that usually, especially in this economy, well, that's been said for like, what, 30, 40, 50. I mean, I don't know, however old you are, you may have said in this economy many times. But back then, like still people were working a lot. Particularly my parents, they were, English is their second language. My mom had immigrated over here from Vietnam when she was like 20. So, she was already an adult and she just went right into working all the time, working nights, working weekends. I remember often, and my father too, he'd be working really late. Like I remember the only time I really saw him was like at night. He'd just come home and I was like really small. And I just remember him being so tired and he would just sit down, watch TV from what I can remember. And otherwise he was working so much. And then same with my mom, like when she was off, she would be like cooking, she cooked and cleaned so much, even though she was working as well, like just constantly like trying to provide. So when she finally got a break, she would just like lay down in front of the TV. And so what this means is in that kind of environment, and I met so many of my peers like this going through school, is pretty much like 7 days a week, most of my time is spent alone without my parents, whether it's at public school around my fellow students, or, random teachers, some dysfunctional, some nice and like parental like, mentor like, and then you have media, and like you had also like unfettered access to the internet. And I think more than just cable television is interesting because it's like, okay, it's really clear programming, right? It means even called programming. What's a TV guide? What's a television programming for the day? Like, that's clear. It's like, okay, that's the network. But there's also the other bent of just being on the World Wide Web as a young impressionable kid. Like you can get and find anything. And that's how you have all kinds of kids. You have some kids who are dressing up and they're like, hi, I'm a wolf. And they're getting into different subcultures. And it's just because they're unsupervised. Children don't have strong attachments to or connections to their parents. And what do? You look for mentors and somebody else to inspire you if you don't have that with your parents. And people often look to singers, dancers, celebrities, actors, actresses, and see that as the thing to emulate. Princesses, right? Royalty, the crown, like, and being the president, being the ultimate ruler, and all of that stuff is usually what's pervaded, because that's we're just saying who's in control right now, right? Who's in control of most of the world? Well, it's statists. That's the culture that primarily dominates humanity right now. It's authoritarianism, it's statism. It's this idea that it's okay to initiate force or violence for some greater ideal, right? Like, oh, to make the roads keep running, taxation's theft, but it's a necessary evil. That's what creates all these weird, like, moral inconsistencies in people and contradictions. But that is the dominant culture right now. And yeah, that's what we're trying to show. And I like that you pointed that out, that it's really not about race here. That really is just a distraction. What's more important is, hey, Disney is seem to be run by pedophiles. Can we talk more about the symbolism and the ideas that they are promoting throughout their shows?
Yeah, and that's the real key here is that when you have a generation of young people who have increasingly become raised by the actions and role models, of actors and things like that on
Right.
TV and on, now, web series and things like that, and they don't have any extra guidance from parents to help them process some of this stuff, you end up with a lot of what we see today in terms of all different types of psychoses and toxic behaviors and mental health issues being elevated and esteemed instead of being some people are saying, hey, you're not exactly what you're saying you are. You know what I mean? In terms of the physical reality, like that's great. You want a fantasy, but you take fantasy to the point where you distort reality, and you end up with people who are like, oh yes, I'm a cat. Right, that level of craziness, where it's just like, okay,
once you accept one contradiction and falsehood, it will necessarily lead you to accepting other falsehoods and mystical thinking. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's like, because you're not building a foundation on reason and evidence, you will then have nothing to check on. Anything is now possible, right? If you start contradicting reality. So.
Yeah, and when you
like
have no
believing you're a
foundation,
wolf,
right?
It's like, okay, well, you're gonna start to believe other things that aren't true because you already allow yourself to believe you're a wolf. And when people start to debate you and try to contradict you, you're gonna keep going down that hole,
right? And it's sad because it's all a product of both a lack of parenting, fathers being present and emotionally mirroring, mothers being present, of course, too. And then on top of that, so you have, the lack of love and the lack of affection and a lack of, good guidance, philosophical guidance. Mm-hmm. You have then horrible modeling. You have the substitute being something that creates a permanent fantasy land for people where it's not, escapism in terms of, enjoyment, which again, I'm all about that. I'm a huge nerd. I love, of course, comics, stuff like that. But there's a difference between understanding, okay, this is fantasy, or maybe something you want to see, what you can take with in terms of the real world, but you're not actually that. But people want to have other people forced to identify them as their fantasy or as whatever it is, this construct they have that makes them feel like they have personhood and can be validated in the ways that they didn't get because of the substitute philosophy. Not really philosophy. It's kind of just, ad hoc morality and ethics as presented on different TV shows and different movies and their friends at school kind of thing. And there's, modeling all this stuff. So it's really warped. It ends up really creating, and as many people have seen, and it's not totally pervasive everywhere, but there's enough people now who have been so traumatized and so encouraged and inspired in this because of, you could say, many of the different types of thought leaders, quote unquote, in this realm. Whether it's someone like Lady Gaga or whether it's someone, like Ariana Grande or whatever else there is that, ends up being these thought leader people, trying to reinforce these types of behaviors. And again, there's a difference, of course, between the political side, you could say, or the philosophy side, just saying that, people should be free to do whatever they want, of course, in terms of, as long as you're not physically violating property rights or anything like that. If you want to be a fox, I don't care. But I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to act as if that is the reality. I'm not going to, look at a horse and you paint it black and white and say, oh, it's a zebra. I'm like, no, you painted a horse black and white. It looks like a zebra with your painting, maybe, but I'm not going to pretend that it's been transformed. And that's a part of this distortion of reality.
Definitely. And what's really corrosive about the distortion of reality there is, especially when it comes to your perception of yourself, like in this case, like, we focusing on your skin color, focusing just on looks itself, like, oh, sorry, I got distracted. I got distracted and I saw Beethoven is here.
Thanks, Beta.
Thanks, Beethoven. I can't see your super sticker.
It's super.
Yeah, I always want to know. What was I saying?
In terms of, you said race and something else, identity, I'm not sure. We were talking about reality, except like.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'll do it again.
Thanks. So I appreciate it. So when it comes to those issues of like your identity, like how you look and feel about yourself, like, it's, how do I say this? Like, I don't know. It's so much more important to understand the why, basically. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like, when it comes to issues of self-reflection, self-confidence, all of that, it's really important to understand the reality of what's going on for you so that you don't become wrapped up in a false reality about yourself, such as, okay, I'm just ugly and unworthy of love, period. Right? I think that's a falsehood. Like, that's not a true statement. Like, how do you know? There's billions of people in the world. You haven't met everybody. You don't know. For example, it could be like, okay, instead of being like, I'm a wolf, it could be like, when I howl at the moon, I feel a certain way, right? I feel soothed. I feel now you can actually, by being actually real about what's going on for you, you can actually start to dive and be like, okay, now why do I have such a strong association with, I don't know, howling at the moon or wolves in general? Did I like have a pet wolf growing up? Did I meet a wolf in the wood? I don't know, but like, to me, to me, I just think like that actually leads to so much more interesting and actual real self-reflection and knowledge about yourself, as opposed to this fantasy that, hi, I'm a wolf. And then now you got to deal with people who are like, no, you're not a wolf. And then you're going to get all defensive, like, I am a wolf. And then you're going to like keep going down this rabbit hole of mysticism.
Wouldn't it be a wolf hole?
Yeah, you'd be going, no, because they're not really a wolf. So it's not a wolf hole. It's a human hole. Actually, it's psychological.
Right.
But yeah, so I think that's what's I personally, it's so important to me when it comes to these conversations about whether it's race identity, gender identity, looks, just basically all about how you feel about yourself, right? To me, what is most important, what leads you to feel the best about yourself, is self-knowledge and just acceptance for who you are, right? If you know who you are and you accept it, that's how you feel good about yourself. And it's also understanding, it's not just like accept as in saying, oh, I'm just the way I am, because that's not true, right? You can change, you can choose to change, you can choose to act differently based on new information, as people constantly do as they're growing. Hopefully you're growing every year and learning new information, but especially like psychologically, and when it comes to yourself, like that's part of building, your confidence for yourself, is like knowing who you are and why you act the way that you do, and seeing in specificity, like, okay, do I like that behavior that I do, right? Do I like that habit? Is it healthy? Is it bad for me? Does it make me feel sick when I do it? Like, and really actually going through real stuff for yourself. And then from there, you can figure out what things you want to change or what behaviors you want to reinforce, you know? So it could even be something like, wow, you know, when I for me personally, like when I found time to spend time with my little siblings, right? And I took them out to eat and I got to have some one-on-one conversations with them. Wow, I realized how much I really missed that with them. And I loved having that connection with them and being able to hear their thoughts and try to give advice and vice versa. Because now my younger siblings are getting to a stage where they can give me advice or they're learning things, you know? So it's just like, you know, that's ultimately why I'm so passionate about it, is just like trying to help people really understand themselves and not, you know, be so bogged down by falsehoods of, you know, thinking they're not good enough or just feeling toxic shame. So.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, ties in with the original topic we were talking about when it came to the race-based focus and weaponizing that. And that's
like me.
Right. And that's
I'm not represented enough.
Right. It's the shame-based thing where it's like you have to derive your self-worth from seeing a fictional character and it's just based on one attribute.
Yeah. If there's no $5 million box office hit with someone who looks like me and was born and raised in this city, I'm not being represented. Like, you know,
right.
And it becomes like such a focus when it's like, did you know taxation's theft? Did you know, you know, like slavery never ended and that we're all just a new feudal slavery? You know, like that.
Right. Well, I mean, if we're talking about little kids and stuff like that, obviously that wouldn't be the go-to talk, but the talk for them would be about encouraging them to find joy in themselves and joy in their own play and creativity. And it doesn't mean that it's bad to have role models or it's bad to enjoy movies that are, you know, fantasy based. There's nothing wrong with those in and of themselves.
Well, I think we're critiquing the Disney princess movies specifically.
Well, we're critiquing the underpinning problem, which is that when people try to frame it as, oh, that's what you should revolve your identity around. That's what you should get your validation from. You're not, you know, validated as a person until you have this soul, one characteristic represented in a movie. And now, okay, now everything's okay. And it's like, no, that's setting up a very toxic psychology, especially when you're coupling it with things like beauty and worship of government in some, you know, form, whatever it you know, is going to be. It depends on the movie, of course, but in this, it's Prince Eric, royalty, that kind of thing.
Right.
So that, you know, that's the core problem is the framing, and it's this means to weaponize it and to use, you know, groupthink and shaming psychology to get people to line Disney's pockets as they lobby to extend the, you know, all kinds of terrible things and you know, continue to try to, you know, get children to you know, basically wrap their identities around all of Disney for their specific political agendas. You know, we'll get into all those things, but going through
I do not have Disney Plus.
Right.
I don't have it.
I'm
not gonna get it. Same thing with the Netflix. I can't support those really obvious
right
insidious propaganda.
And as Imperial Guard said here, said can't represent everyone on screen. Right. Even that's kind of like silly. I mean, yeah, I mean, it'd be fun to see all kinds of things. I mean, again, it's benign in and of itself, but this idea that you know, you're holding your breath waiting for that time, you know, when you're going to have a movie where, especially in today's world, where you're like, yeah, I'm a quarter Irish, a quarter Jamaican, you know, 50% French and whatever. It's just like, you're not going to have perfect representation, everything.
Well, and beyond just that's just skin color.
It's just like,
that's literally one dimension of a human being.
Right.
Like, there's upbringing, there's culture, there's like, you know, ideologies, like were you growing up in a collectivist household, communist, heavily religious? Did you grow up with mystical thinking or not? Like,
right.
I mean, all of these are really unique experiences,
right?
Different parts of the world.
Yeah, and ultimately, it's just
representation is not a virtue. Diversity, inclusion, these in and of themselves are not virtues.
Right?
They're not, and that's it's all being touted as such, though, to really, really young kids. And just get your kids out of public school, okay? If they're in there, just stop. Just no, don't go to parent meetings like blah, blah. No. Property taxes is theft. Let's abolish property taxes. Get your kids out of public school. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, unless you really know the teachers, and you know what's the curriculum is, but if it's public school, like, you know that it's being indoctrinated towards statism, communism, socialism of some degree, fascism of some degree, and yeah, and you're just leaving your kids alone to be in a sea of mostly other kids who yeah, you're just gonna have like different kinds of things happen, with kids of that age.
Yeah,
who don't have adults around.
And specifically too, that the whole, as you were saying before, the diversity thing. It's like you could have 5 different people of different continents, cultures, whatever, and skin tone, and they could all be like, yeah, we all have the same exact political values. We all have the same, that's not diversity. That's not diversity to sit there and say, okay, yeah, we have a bunch of different skin tones. Okay, and you all think the same. Okay,
right.
It's like, but that's how they play everybody. They play everybody by saying, look, we have fake justice. We have fake representation. Well, everybody who are using, in these puppeteer positions, because again, these actors are chosen by much higher level people who own, multimedia companies on multiple levels, right? In terms of the big conglomerates, they're using these vessels of people to get the same agenda across.
Vessels of people.
It is. It happened with, the old shots, right? Who was doing music videos and dancing to try to get people to, buy Pfizer products, right?
Oh,
it's all the same. Ariana Grande.
On Instagram or social media, like all these celebrities be like, I got my shot. Look at this heroic nurse, just reinforcing, stay safe, stay home. I'm staying home. I'm quarantining.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. They're just sitting there saying, hey, you should only value how someone looks aesthetically. And if we put the right puppet in front of you, you've got to believe whatever they say.
Exactly.
And whatever they say is going to be something on the lines of support our crony corporate state, conglomeration mix of having the government, steal from you and then force our products on you. Yeah. That's what it is.
You know what? It's almost like the difference to me that's being seen is like, these people like going through public school, like you are literally being created, like being put into a state of like hypnosis, like a state of deep hypnosis,
trauma-induced hypnosis. Yeah.
Subconscious reactive behavior. Like you're just very reactive. You're defensive. Like, hey, what are you doing? And you don't actually learn how to think critically and think consciously and go, let me take a step back. Let me not just deeply immerse myself in a movie and get carried away with all the feels, right? Let me actually take a step back and be like, who created this? Why? What's the different, why did they position the scene this way, right? There are endless questions when that can be had and thoughts and conversations and discussions that be had if you actually like take a step back and you think more than just what is in front of you, right? You think about the whys and the hows. Like that's when it gets really interesting, and you where you're being led into more and more knowledge. Like same thing. I talk about self-knowledge, but that just can be generalized for the acquiring any knowledge, really. But I would just say it needs to start with yourself, because if you don't even understand how yourself works, how can you trust that you're observing other things correctly? If like you don't even understand like your own perceptions and your own ability to be not as conscious, right? Like if you drink, right, just being aware what's going on for you. If you're tired in the morning, you didn't get enough sleep, being aware that you're tired. Like that's all it is just having awareness of what you have and also your limitations, and just being real about it. So
yeah. And I think that the way forward, I think as far as I've seen that is the most effective is just building the alternatives. If we're going to actually get to that point of people being able to exit out of this insipid, nonsense of just this SJW status wokeism, corporatism, where all these major conglomerates are just working together to dumb down the population, get them to just support their flavor of statism and corporate fascism, and having the government either bail them out or force their products, which or both. We have to think outside the state. We have to think about what are the more ethical and more appropriate ways to actually provide both fantasy entertainment and education with kids. And that's a whole spectrum of different offerings that you have to think through, and parents have to take that mantle
and
up.
Cultures.
Yes.
And that's why we need a free market.
Yes.
And no taxation, so people's wealth could be freed up to actually like do kind of cool endeavors like that. Like imagine if you like you yourself, you have a unique culture, you have a unique vision for art, right? Yes, you don't have to be an artist. Yes, you can hire one, right? Or whatever it is. You could have an idea and be like, I want to, make a children's book. I want to make a cartoon. I want to, do something. Maybe you're a parent yourself. And often I've seen this, especially with Liberty parents, when they become parents, like, okay, well, I don't like the content that's out there. Time to make my own, like, I don't like the content that's available for my kids. So I'm going to try and make my own. Like, that's awesome. I want there to be more. And that's why I'm like, we got to end taxation, free the market, times now. We need to be free. We need to flourish.
Well,
we
even
need to
before then, just take an
defund
action.
Nancy Pelosi and all these people. I was going to say Bernie Sanders, but he's been out of the limelight for a long time. So, but
Still
Joe Biden and all the different people, Obama, like I want to defund all these people.
Right. I mean,
need sound money, man. And the Fed.
Even if we can't get it between now and then, it doesn't matter. The key is just starting to build that future. And I think, more than ever, we've seen that come to fruition, whether it's, Eric July's series, obviously that's been doing great.
I love the Ripper. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like he really focused on like, how can I make this? So this is like, he really thought it was like, okay, to someone who's like not a libertarian, like, how do I make this to somebody who's like not in the same exact worldview to me attracted to this? And I thought he made some really awesome characters. That was great.
Right.
I'm excited to read it to see like, okay, what kind of characters does he make? Right. Like, ooh, what's the backstory he gives? I'm really into stories that have like character evolution and building. Oh my God. Like my own life. Oh, okay. Anyway.
No, I mean, well, exactly. I mean, and that's
wow.
the thing.
Thanks, Evan.
We're gonna have a few shots here. Thanks to Evan.
Okay, yeah, shot.
So you're about to get it. But exactly, and Eric July, his work is just one of many examples right now.
Twins,
like the Tuttle Twins.
Oh,
the Tuttle Twins is another great example of building.
They're amazing. They started off with
and
like
a kid show.
Right. Little books, and then they have like ABC toddler books. They got teenage, bigger, fiction books and novels. Wow, it's fascinating. Like now, that's precisely their story. Connor and Elijah, was it? Did
Connor Boyack and Elijah Sandfield.
Okay, so they started together, and so like they had precisely that. They had children. They're like, we don't like the stuff that's available. We can do this better. We can teach the values that we want our kids to have, like property rights, individualism, free markets, voluntary trade, like honesty. Like those are values that they like and they try to promote. And like whatever it is, you can do the same. It's just like
whether it's yourself or supporting something that exists or burgeoning. There has never been a better time for this, and it's been growing. It's not just in the liberty sphere. There's other people, of course. Anybody who's been censored in the past few years has started to teeter toward that end and started to build the alternative platforms, and then now alternative movie platforms and alternative. And so
there's a lot of alternative kid shows. For example, like think of the most like some mom, right? She starts a YouTube channel and she just plays with Play-Doh. That's a kid show. Or she sings, and she's like, she has characters. Like that's literally a kid's show now. Like
it's becoming decentralized.
You are empowered to do that, and it, like you said, it already has like that much content out there. That, it's just when it comes to Disney, right? It's like this massive corporation in bed with the worst governments in the world, CCP, U.S. government, like, that is just trying to indoctrinate for the new world order. Okay.
Right. Well, it's all a part of it, because again, the more people start to exit out, again, you don't have to. Some people get so caught up in like, I got to do all or nothing. It's like, no. You just do what's reasonable. You start to exit out piece by piece. Again, you do 5% one year, 10% the next year, another 10%, and it builds up over time. We start to see a major cultural shift. It's huge. So that's the key. Definitely, that's the key. But before we talk more about that, you have to set up 3 shots for us, thanks to Evan Hogan. So thank you, Evan, for your support. Oh my
gosh. Okay. So
and on him, we have 3 shots.
Because we're doing this. We're promoting the Anti-State music video. Nice to see you, Evan. It's been a while. Hope you're well. Thank you so much. Okay, I will prepare baby shots. So Evan wasn't here.
He didn't.
But so Evan,
Baby shots.
we have switched
Little shots.
to mini shots.
Well, for your sake, so you don't die mostly. So
Especially for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, this is for the anti-state music video. So in case you didn't know too, obviously the banner was up before, but we are also a part of that, trying to, I think it's the old banner, trying to build the change here. We've been trying to build a change for a long time. We actually have more stuff coming out, not just music video stuff. We actually have another secret project that'll be coming out soon enough that we've been working on this, kind of heel of trying to be the change you want to see. And it's tough. Obviously, the content for younger people is probably the toughest because it's more censored. Ever since YouTube changed everything, where algorithmically that they're very sensitive about kids stuff, which again I can understand why they'd want to do that, but I'm not a big fan of the internet censorship. But it becomes harder to just get content out to young people. And specifically service those things. And so a lot of stuff we do normally is geared toward adults. Obviously, I mean, the stream is geared toward adults. So if you're a kid, I mean, I didn't,
literally.
it's not geared toward adults. It's not geared toward kids. This is an adult. This is an adult show.
I
We don't do
accidentally
that.
said baby shots, but that was
right.
No, it's not meant for baby.
But we do want to do
mini
more
shots.
stuff to reach out on a wider level. And I might comic book series and stuff like that, but that's still more like older teen kind of thing. But we're going to be branching out more and more with different separate things. So again, it's the way to actually build this future and leaving this, just toxic messaging that you see day in, day out from all these different horrible, statist, woke, SJW-ridden corporations that their whole point is just to get your kids to hate you. I mean, that's the core, because a part of the communist, I would say, foundational worldview is getting rid of the family unit and children becoming a part of the community at large, right? And so a big part of that, of course, is breaking up the family, making it harder for single earner incomes to support families, creating more tension with dysfunctional relationships, getting kids out of the homeschooling. So this stands as a total resistance to that. That is, the philosophy of liberty, voluntarism, peaceful parenting, nonviolent communication, all that stuff. It stands completely against that.
So true. I'm actually really excited for the next year. Some of you guys have been here since the beginning for the past 6 years. Oh, careful. It's really wet.
That's so wet.
The keyboard.
So Evan said, am I getting you drunk? Not the goal. Technically, you're getting us drunk. That is correct, because the super chats are for the shot, but the campaign.
Look at these mini shots. Cheers.
Yeah, the campaign for the anti-state music video.
I won't get drunk off one. That's
no. I mean, that is kind of why we did that. So the campaign link, I'll send this out here.
It'll take I'd say 4.
Yeah.
And then I'll be pretty,
So the campaign for the next music videos, you can see it at the top here, right there. So there's a link there. I sent out the links in the chats too, if you want to check it out. Just for our next music video, we're shooting that one actually in New York. Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Could be cool.
Yeah, I've never been.
So that's gonna be pretty wild. But it's again, it's more on the mature. I mean, there's actually nothing bad in the song. There's no
swear words. Actually, yeah.
There's no swear
There's
words.
no swear words. It's actually
song.
Not rap.
It's
a very, I would describe it as like ethereal song. Like it feels really like ethereal. It's inspiring because it's the lyrics itself is like, saying you're not a slave. You're not going to take it anymore. You're going to keep, fighting for liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited. It's going to be really interesting to be in New York City and be recording the video. If some of you are there, you might be walking around New York City and just see us singing, I'm the interesting.
And as you said, if we hit goal, we will definitely be having a meetup in New York City for backers to come join us for a bowl of pho. So this... I'm
going to find a really good pho joint in New York City. There's probably tons.
Woo!
I'll take one of them.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you a horse? You just turned into a horse.
I'm now a horse.
You see
I
that,
forgot how
guys?
strong that was, and I just took that like it was just a sip of water, and I forgot that was some strong stuff. Okay, well that's only
really
one.
funny.
Evan put us in for 3, so
oh my
Evan's
gosh.
coming back in.
I'm gonna get
so
some more.
We gotta do 2 more, thanks to Evan. So thank you, Evan.
right.
I mean,
You are
to support us generally, but on the campaign itself, obviously that is a separate goal meter and stuff like that. And actually, I think right now on the campaign, we're at 33% of goal. We're at 1664. We've had a number of roll credit backers. So some people getting some credit in the video itself. Super cool. There's also still open the executive producer spot that's at the opening of the video. We did actually have someone support for the ending roll credit backer thing. So that end spot's taken, but the roll credit general and the open. Oh, thank you.
What a time we live in, to just be like, hey, I need some mini shot glasses.
That is the beauty of the market. Is that
2 days later, it's at your door.
But I will say, even though these are mini, this is truly.
This is Don Julio 48% or something.
It is truly a spicy shot.
It's Trulio.
Well, cheers to that.
Julio.
Cheers to hanging out with us, everybody, and talking up. Again.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. Cheers.
It is important to emphasize here that it's we're not upset about people. They want to do race ops or this in movies. I don't care about that in the abstract. I really don't care. It's about what they're trying to manipulate kids into thinking, and that's the real thing that makes me so angry, is that they try to get these kids to focus their identities about what factor and about making their lives around a lifestyle that is just toxic in the relationships. Again, princesses, it seems all cutesy, right? People will be like, oh, poo-poo, but it's not. When you actually look at the relationships and you're putting in a 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old to watch this movie, they're not ready to process all that stuff. It's going to sit there and they're going to be like, oh, yes, I have to be pretty. So, it's not as benign as people want to make it out to be.
All right, cheers. Come by.
Come by.
Okay, that's only
that's
two.
And then we have a
Got
third
two
from
more.
Evan.
Okay, thanks, Evan.
So,
I like how you go, am I getting you drunk? Not the goal?
Oh,
is it the goal?
I mean, if the goal is to get us drunk, that is happening, I guess. But it is also the I just showed everybody here that we're making some headway. We got 15 days left, so halfway through, we're at 30%. Not bad. Not bad. So I think we're gonna
if we hit gold, that'd be awesome.
It would be
to actually have like a meet up with all the backers and have some fun together
in New York City. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
That'd be crazy.
Maybe walk around the city if it's not raining.
Woo. All right, so we got one more shot, and then we have from him, and then we have another person. So we're gonna have to.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so we get 2 more rounds of shots.
Oh my gosh. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right. So in any case, so Evan says here, would you like to make you drink the bottle? How funny. I mean, you could. It's a possibility. It's a lot. It's a very strong drink. It really it's a spicy. I would recommend it, but it takes you by surprise. So, and that's why we got the small glasses, because after a few of those nights, and obviously Evan here has put us over those edges quite a few times. So thank you so much for being an executive producer too on Disobey, which was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun to do with all those people, because it's a big production shoot with a ton of extras. We had to shoot that over 3 days.
Everyone had fun.
Everybody who was an extra in that had a lot of fun. It was a great time, even though we didn't have the highest level equipment, because we spent more of the money on the props and the people. But then of course I did not consent after. We said, okay, less people, less props, but in a studio with a higher level production crew. So, but this time it's going to be one wardrobe outfit, not really much anything in props, and budget is focused on just the quality shots and then the quality editing. So it'll look good. I think we're going to have to up these glasses, because Evan's about to make us drink this whole bottle.
I'm gonna die.
We might die.
I'm gonna die.
Okay. Well, it's a start. All right. So this one's for Evan. This is the third one.
Hey, you don't want to support.
Hey, yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, this. I don't even know, man. I'm not sure how we're going to survive this one. Oh boy. Yep. Here we go. So yeah, I think that this is about to get real spicy real quick. Yeah, I don't even know if the little glasses matter anymore. Might have to switch to just a bigger one. That's right. So yeah, so no dying if you're gonna die. I don't think we'll die yet. I think we did pace this out using the smaller glasses this time, so we would be able to manage a few more shots before getting real sloppy. But
I I have 3 sets.
Okay, 3 sets is good to start. We got to roll on this.
3 sets of
Perfect,
minis.
perfect. All right, so this is the last one for Evan. So cheers, thank you so much. And
Oh,
again,
this is the last one for Evan for now.
well,
it
for the
looks
moment,
like.
it's going to be more in just a second.
Oh my gosh.
But Evan's a super rock star. Seriously, thank you so much for helping to get a few of our projects really going. So thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah,
and you should watch Disobey. He is in the opening credits for that music video. If you haven't, the music video set is on the YouTube channel for us.
Oh, that was so fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was such a fun 3-day shoot.
Yeah, a lot of people love the
fun.
message too. It's very popular, along with, of course, Mask Order.
Mm-hmm.
Just because so many people got so over the freaking nonsense with that. So,
woo!
Woo!
Oh, I love it. Was therapeutic for me to do Mask Order, Disobey.
Disobey.
Actually, both Mask Order and Disobey, and Cat Boogaloo Trap. That was in the beginning. Nobody knows. We didn't make a music video for that though.
All right, TZ with the
TZ
hilarious profile picture.
Oh, with someone's grandpa who's been let out the insane asylum. Sorry.
Yeah.
My first super chat to you. I've been following you too for a while. I try to comment on your videos and posts. Love your content. I told my wife I want to move to New Hampshire due to Dave Smith.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, New Hampshire is one of the places I do recommend if you really love liberty and you're up, for the mountains and stuff like that. New Hampshire is a hotbed for liberty. It's a great place to be.
Did Dave move there?
I don't think so. I think
recently,
isn't he in New Jersey?
I thought he was in New York.
Is he still in New York? Oh, is that just okay. Cool.
I could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
But that's cool. I know that Dave talks about the Free State Project though. So it could be just that in and of itself. And not
I love the
living
people
there,
at the Free State Project. The Free State Project is awesome. I'm just sorry. I'm a Florida fanboy. I can't help it. But I do love what they do. And I
like their concept though, because that can be repeated. It doesn't have to be New Hampshire. It can be anywhere.
Right.
You know, it's this idea of like trying to connect with the like-minded people who actually respect your body and property rights.
And I've sent a lot of people that way too. A lot of people have asked, like, oh, where should I go? I said, give them a list of places. I said, but definitely check out New Hampshire and connect them with people who, are over there. So it's definitely worth checking out if you're thinking about moving to a more freer place. Absolutely. It should be on your list.
Thanks,
All
TZ.
Right.
Well, cheers to you.
TZ before we get back to Evan.
Cheers, TZ.
Boom.
Or is it Tiz?
Tiz.
Okay, I don't know if I can do this.
Fancy glass.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. You're like, look how red I am. I'm like a tomato.
No, and that's crazy, right? We're using
ridiculous.
these mini glasses, but this is
It's Jadon, man. Strong.
And he said, I used to live in Florida, but Mrs. Wife hates the hot weather. Well,
I love the hot weather, but I'm from a tropical family, like Vietnam, southern China, Vietnam. Very, very hot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Florida heat die hard. It's just what it is. So, but if I wasn't in Florida, I would probably go to New Hampshire. Actually, New Hampshire or Texas, but probably New Hampshire.
I'm just shaking my hands like,
yeah.
He take my money. Sorry.
Yeah, that's when the Don's in. All right, so Evan
start singing.
Evan has
Evan. Oh
another
my
3
gosh.
shots.
Oh my gosh.
So we got
I think we're gonna have to end the stream soon.
No. we're staying on. I didn't just get the second wind for nothing. All right. Cheers to Evan and the people who survived.
I feel like is this weird to say? Am I like okay, I'm not gonna say it. Can I say it?
I just realized I can't hear anything.
Oh
no. I don't know.
Okay.
No.
So I check
you need 3 more shots before you can say that. So now you need 3 more shots before you can say that.
Okay. I can't get over how red I look. Why am I red?
Cheers. All right. So this is the
Cheers.
first, the second generation of. This is like the sequel. When they remake the Ghostbusters. Or
what
whatever.
A great way to end the stream. It was like really dry for
beginning.
over an hour. I mean, I might have to end it soon, but Jack can keep going. Okay, if you want to keep going all night, that's fine.
You'll have to take.
I'll cuddle myself. I'll cuddle myself in bed.
Oh my goodness. Well, she said,
please come to bed.
The limit that Evan says, of course, is if you're going to die. So that's it. That's the limit. If you're going to die, which we're not there yet. We're not there.
You're so compassionate.
I'm very compassionate.
I like how earlier Evan's like, please don't die if you're going to die.
Please, yes.
That's my favorite.
Please not die. Yes.
If you're going to die, please don't.
Okay. Okay.
All right. There you go, everybody.
That's quite a few.
6.
I don't even know if I'm counting this
Look,
right.
I
at this
can be a
point.
bartender. Just kidding. Not.
All right, so I think we have 3 more from Evan. So we got to load that back up.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you guys want to hear some stories around the campfire because that's where we're going.
That is where we're going
Okay.
at this rate. At this rate.
I guess Evan wants to hear some stories around the campfire.
There's gonna be a few stories.
Back in China.
At this rate, yes, it's gonna be like that. So,
Oh,
let me see here. Okay. I'm just catching my breath. Yeah, she. I mean, again, they were small, but yet her tolerance for alcohol is very thin, and it is very easy to get her very wasted. So she's already on her way there. It's only a matter of time before it all sets in. In any case, yeah, I appreciate the love out here. Everybody, coming out to hang out and support us and talk with us and stuff like that. It's been really awesome just to see everyone rally around, the principles of liberty, and even before, just seeing a few people pipe in about how they were reading Anatomy of the State, For New Liberty, and other great books. It's cool. I mean, it's something that is refreshing to see. Just so many different people who are willing to take a look at foundational economics and ethics and philosophy and really value that in a time when so many people, as you've seen what we were talking about with before, don't want young people thinking about those things. They want them to just be so dysfunctional they can't do anything. All they can do is, basically just fantasize and dissociate and never accomplish anything because the whole goal is just to get people wrapped up in the most superficial things, and then they can be ruled.
That's why I called it a state of hypnosis.
It is a state of hypnosis
because you're you maintain a state of almost like adolescence, highly impressionable, highly reactive, unable to manage your emotions, and just subject to the whims of whoever's most powerful in the room, which is a state of adolescence, right? When you're a little kid and you're dependent on your parents, it makes sense that you're beholden to the whims of your caretakers, right? But when you're an adult, it should not be like that anymore. You should not be beholden to the whims of other strange adults, stranger adults, like those who rule over you or say they rule over you in the state, in the U.S. federal government or whatever.
Right.
So,
all right, here we go.
Cheers to that. Cheers to
and cheers
trying to wake up minds,
trying to wake everybody
get them out of the matrix.
All right.
Cheers. Cheers, Evan. Thanks.
That's what I also love is like, we don't have to be dry and boring with it all. It's not all just like, only economics and
I shake my head every time I
dry
drink
philosophy.
Like, I softly shake it. That's how I handle it.
Like you should have.
Wow, I'm so red. I look like I'm extreme. I look like communist China, don't I?
I
literally look like a CCP agent. Hey, where your communists up? Where?
I think you're a CCP Asian.
Show to me your communism, your allegiance to the state. I don't know. I lost my. It always turns into Vietnamese. It's really hard.
You definitely are like.
When I start a Cantonese accent, it becomes Vietnamese. I don't know what it is. It must be like my mom and dad. They spoke both, so it's like.
Well, let's see how many more accents you can do, because at this point.
Yeah. Cheers, Evan. We're about to do an accent contest.
At this rate, okay. Yes. I'm just trying to catch up to Evan. Where
are we? Which Evan are we on? Which Evan chat are we on?
I'm pretty sure we're.
Oh my gosh, the 12:08 a.m. or the 12:10 a.m.
I'm trying to focus and see which one it is. It's a tough one.
Wait, help us.
I think we're at the 12:08. Yes, I think we're at the 12:08.
Oh my gosh,
that's good. I'm glad you noticed that this has a time code on it, because then that makes it easier to remember which one's which.
Yeah, it's like a unique ID.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's 12:08. Cheers to 12:08 Evans.
Cheers to what?
12:08.
Cheers to what my name? What my name is? Sorry. I mean, not sorry.
No, not sorry.
Not sorry.
Not
SNS.
Sorry, not
All right,
sorry.
Cheers, Evan. Well, for me.
For you.
For me.
For you.
You.
Okay. Well, you're down to that, and then we're going on to Evan part 2 and 3 going on right now.
No.
Woo.
Okay.
Okay.
How many more?
From Evan, I think at least 2 more. Yes.
Well, I ain't a doctor, but I'm pretty bred. I don't think I'm gonna die.
No, I don't think you're gonna die.
I think I got a few more years left in me in the soul bag. Been around the earth for 70 years. Just kidding. I'm not that old. I wish.
No.
I mean, just kidding. I don't wish. If I was that old, I'd be like, I'm dying soon.
I mean, you would actually look like a lot of, Asians do up to that point. You know what I mean? Like, you basically look young and then boom, you hit the whatever it is, 60, 70 arena, and then you look like, really short, plump old lady.
Man, I saw that happen with a lot of the Chinese ladies in my family. Like, they're slim, they stay young. Oh, okay, thanks. He's gonna get the next shot. So, oh my gosh, don't fall. Evan says, "You guys making me low." Oh, like LUL, like laugh under loud. No, I know what lol is. Like a cute way of saying lol. All right, so we made him lol. Dustin 888, like Iraq veteran 88. Okay. All right, thanks, Dowston. That's a cool name. Oh, what is that from Back to the Future? That car? Is that what that is? How come Vietnam didn't like Pol Pot? I don't know about Vietnam. I mean, like Vietnamese people. I mean, a lot of those people were people who fled Cambodia. So actually, my own family fled Cambodia as well. So yeah. Did you know that? Are you new, Dowston? Did you know that about me? That my family fled from Cambodia? Well, on my mom's side specifically. Yeah, interesting. Pol Pot, yep, another communist leader. Very murderous. Killed so many people. If you hear the killing fields of Cambodia, that's what it's referring to, is Pol Pot's just sending out his goons to kill a bunch of innocent people, like Vietnamese people who weren't like Cambodian enough. So that's why my family left, because they're Chinese and Vietnamese. So
yeah, I'm just actually looking at
and that's why I'm an anarchist.
The numbers here from RJ Rumble, like the mega murders, 20, like,
oh god,
and there was quite a lot. I mean, it says democide. There's like 3 zeros in there, so it's like 76 million, 61 million.
China. I learned about that.
Mao Soviets, yeah.
How China, the quote cultural revolution, aka just massacre of innocent property owners and destruction and burning down of historical like Chinese ancient culture. So,
it's sad. People don't know that some of the most murdered people are Chinese people in the world. Like historically, some of the largest mass murders actually took place around China.
Yeah.
Which when you look at the numbers, it's just beyond comprehension. Like how it's like you can't even think about it. It's like the number of people is just astonishing to think that many people were slaughtered or died in starvation because of the government. It's really crazy.
I mean, all of this, if you look at all these murders, what is the common thread? It's that people accepted violence in the name of the state.
Mm-hmm.
They accepted this thing called government and thought that it was justified, thought that it's okay to violate the body and property rights of each other, and just create this moral insanity from the get-go.
Right. Yeah.
We can create a just and fair world by violating justice, by violating people's bodies and property. Oh, I make you cry.
All right. Well, I'll drink to that. So cheers again to
I don't
Evan.
know if we'll ever meet. If we do, we'll buy you a drink.
We'll buy you a drink in New York City. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. Okay.
Well, actually, yeah, Evan will have a special invite no matter what to New York City. So definitely.
Oh, did you drink two?
I already drank that one because I was on.
Oh, do I need to drink two?
Yes, those are yours. Those are both yours.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, definitely we'll hit you up about that when we finally.
If I could make it to New York City after all these mini.
Yeah, if you survive this, I guess.
All right, cheers.
We'll let you know we're
cheers, Evan. Thanks, James.
Whew. Wow, that is spicy, but less spicier now. I think I'm starting to get past the point of sensitivity at this point.
Do you know why? Okay, on top of that note,
Yeah.
Totalitarian governments murder their family, like in North Korea, right? They kill all the blood relatives of whatever political quote defector, right? Just another slang term for somebody who's just standing up for the rights. But they just label them a defector, make them seem like they're bad. But why do they kill off everyone related to them? Because there's something really powerful about family. And if you're like me and you got the chance to experience love from your parents, it's something that fuels me and is why I'm an anarchist. I want to stop this generational cycle of violence and murder that we have seen in humanity for hundreds of years, for centuries of rule, centuries of rape and pillaging and people being stolen from or silenced and shot in the back of the head. Let's talk about Hillary Clinton or whatever, or like suicided somehow,
Yeah, it's really beyond fathom. People don't think much about it because it's just to them. It's like, oh, I read about it in middle school civics textbook. Yeah, lots of people die, but it's too abstract. They don't even stop to think about. Oh my gosh, wow, like.
And I would argue it's abstracted for them. It's
it's definitely
you're putting kids like we've been saying this whole time, highly impressionable, and they're put in systems by by people who just want to use them. Okay, frankly. Okay, you're not. Okay, when you go to public school, you're not surrounded by a building, loving household of family who really loves you and cares about your growth. Okay, often you are just another number. You need to move along to the next class. You're mostly identified by probably your social security number and your grades, your GPA average, in school. And you just kind of moved along and, did you get sent to the principal's office ever? Have you ever been tardy or absent? You're just reduced, in the state.
Yeah.
And so anyway, please just get your kids out of public school.
Definitely
figure out a way. You can do it. I believe now more than ever with the internet and all the content out there, you can find a way to homeschool your kids. Figure it out.
Unschool co-op,
or find a school that like a self-directed learning center or something near you. There's lots of resources, and of course it depends on where you live, but depending on where you live, there may be, like you said, homeschooling co-ops. There may be actual facilities like a school that you drop your kids off, but it's not compulsory in that your kid isn't being like forced and carted from class to class and told exactly what to learn and like forced to learn and need to do homework and basically forced labor. It's about, okay, what's a facility where there are adults that are building, they're not shaming, they're not judgmental, and they're looking to help my child learn and grow, and maybe there's computers, maybe there's instruments, maybe there's cooking or something like that, that they could pick up.
Yeah. Well, that's what we talk about. And we're definitely, again, more good things coming, more things in the works. So
yeah, that we can't talk about, but we're really excited.
Well, we're
excited for the years coming. So
James,
are we caught up? I don't know.
You still owe him a shot, but I'll talk about James here. He says, I wish we were able to talk about Conkin. All here's at Rothbard. We actually talk about Conkin in a song called Agorist Nexus. So we do talk about it once.
Yes.
But I think
Conkin on the left, Rothbard on the
right. Hybrid green tree is going to be lit all night. 3D printed glass. 3D printed. Yeah.
Agorist trip. Black market click. Move a quick flip. Can't regulate this. Anyway, Agorist Nexus. Shout out to them.
Agorist Nexus. Yeah,
big shout out. Agorist Nexus is really cool.
So Conkin, I think he's not as robust in his writings. Rothbard obviously wrote a lot more. Conkin's focus too is just on agorism and like the narrow thing of like
strategy, right?
Strategy.
Yes.
So that's probably why there's just less to him. I mean, and you can simplify, his whole thing to just, hey, try to do business outside of government sanctioned.
Right.
So that's about it. But we like that as a tactic. Obviously, we don't think it's the end all be all or anything, but we like that as a conceptual to help people think outside the state. So that would be that.
Okay, last one. Cheers.
And then James says, when America lost in Vietnam, they teamed up with China to throw Cambodia at them. Actually, it's funny. We actually, in this next video we just did, we talk a little bit about some of those things going on. So there'd be, next video you got to check out that we're going to be releasing. There's a topic, and it actually talks a little bit about what was going on at that time. A little bit.
Vietnam. Yeah. Cool.
And then
thanks, James.
Dowston, 8888, Quattro 8.
Oh, the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what, would y'all time travel into the past or the future? Oh, that's a good question.
Do we there's a lot of conditions though, because it's like, are we stuck there? Could we go back? Because if it was just like, what would you do? I would just do the easy thing, which is I'll go back as short as I have to get the winning lottery numbers, for the biggest jackpot, and then get that. Because I like where I'm at. I don't want to mess with everything. I like my relationships and stuff. So I don't want to butterfly affect everything. And the future, I want it to be a surprise. So, but I mean, outside of that, I might be disappointed.
I would choose the past.
But, the past. Yeah.
I'd choose.
What would you do?
I would choose to go back to when we first met.
Uh-oh.
And then do it again.
Oh, my goodness. That'd be crazy.
But do it better.
Do it better. Yeah, but I don't get the time travel, so I'm stuck. I'm stuck being a schmuck.
Yeah, how does that work?
Yeah.
So if you time travel and then I killed the old me, it's just like, what?
Right?
Anyway,
Yeah.
good question. That's funny. Realistically, it's like, if you could time travel, wouldn't you go to the past with your modern weapons and take out like some of the most prolific people? And then like while you time travel, can you also choose the location? Or is it just time travel? It's like, oh, I'm in my house. It's like, oh, I'm in my same house, but it's like, 1960 something. And it's like, who are these people? It's like, no, I want to get to China and take out Mao's dog, So that's funny.
I think we owed Evan one more.
All right, Evan, everybody. This will be the last bit, I think. Evan said I'll resist the urge.
Speak for yourself. This is just the beginning.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Oh, he goes, just hang out with Babe in bed? I like how it's very suggestive. Like,
I thought that he's hanging out with Babe in bed. He's just chilling.
Yeah, is that what you're doing? Babe in bed? That's cool.
Well, cheers. I think this is why I think I undercounted you on one because I was counting through it again.
Okay,
all right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, and you owe two because you didn't do your seconds, though.
Oh.
Woo! Oh, I felt that one.
You always become a horse.
I do.
Okay, not always. Yeah, I know, right? When Bitcoin was what, $20? TZ Burton. I know, right? I know. You and me both, kid.
Yeah, you guys done? No, I ain't done.
I'm just quoting a Western movie, so okay.
Oh, that's a good point.
See, impressions.
We didn't
highly impressed.
We didn't talk about the recent movies we watched too, because it ties into what we were talking about before. And this will be good because this is some recommended films.
All right, I'm out of here. Bye.
Get out of here. No.
Okay.
No, because it's good. It's good. Because we, in this process of talking about, before with like the race stuff, this or that with movies, we were talking about how even just recently, we watched a lot of like older, not like pre-1960s, but movies that came out in the past where you can just find good stuff, right? You could, there's stuff that they don't have to worry about. The
focus was on cinema.
Right.
It was actually about like telling a good story, like building suspense, building character.
Yes.
Right? Like it was really about the storytelling, which is what I think a movie or a show is, right? Isn't it ultimately telling a story, trying to get create a certain perspective or get your mind to imagine a certain world.
You're telling a captivating thing that gets you drawn to the characters and makes you think about what happens and the mystery unveiling and what happens next, and and leaves you hanging like wanting to know. And one of the great movie that we just saw, and it is, I will give a warning, it is a little brutal. So I don't know if you're into horror or if you're into like thriller, that kind of stuff. So it's got some brutality to it, but it's called Confessions.
Yes.
And so the movie
was it made in Korea or no?
Japan.
No. Oh, made in Japan, right?
And so we were just talking about how it's a Japanese movie, all Japanese cast.
Really cool.
100%. But I don't sit there and go, oh, I can't enjoy this movie because there's no like white looking dudes in it. Like,
it was a psychological thriller, right?
Psychological thriller. A great movie.
Very fascinating.
Great
I love movies like that because it's, there's so many different elements, like visually or audio wise, sound wise, that audially
orally
audio. What's wrong with me? What audio? What are you doing?
I think we got to do the next 3 shots to correct your speech impediment. But yeah, but it's again 2010. Right. It's a Japanese film. Confessions.
Wow, Evan.
Confessions.
Look at Tommy TR7. That's my reaction. He's like, haha, Evan. Evan says, sorry, I'm a libertarian Chad. All right. Are you fishing for compliments?
He is. So this is the movie, Confessions 2010.
Okay, and Jack can call you Chad.
It was a Toho film. It was a Toho film, which I love.
Oh, this was good.
And again,
it was ridiculous.
I don't sit there and go, oh my gosh, I can't enjoy this film. There's nobody who looks like me, right? It's like, no, it's like you watch it for the characters, you watch it for the intrigue. And this movie really is twisted. So if you're looking for a movie that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
This is not a kid's movie. Okay?
No, this is not a kid's movie.
Yeah.
Definitely adult. But it's fascinating. It's thrilling. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. So if you've been looking for a movie, you're tired of all the SJW nonsense, you're just like, can I just have a movie that actually is kind of, psychologically thrilling and makes you wonder what's going to happen? And like, this is a truly incredible film. I really enjoyed it in this genre. So if you like psychological thriller, cool. It will definitely keep you on the edge of your seat. So that's our movie recommendation for at least one of them for the night. We could talk about the other movies.
I didn't know we were doing these now. Movie recommendations.
Oh, definitely. Because people want to know what's good. Because it's just like you can't. Everything else is garbage. Like it's just like keep putting out garbage.
Yeah, I want to go back to just the intention that's behind the Good Morning. Like the narrative when it comes to like, okay, this recent Ariel movie, right, remaking of The Little Mermaid, with the black or whatever you want to say, African American girl. I think it's really interesting, like the wow, I've had a lot of shots. Okay, but I want to say, like, the whole idea of like, I want someone to represent me, and I want to go deeper in that when it comes to Disney princesses movies, right? What it is, in my opinion, is there's a huge importance and grandeur surrounding Disney princesses. I mean, I saw that my whole childhood and life so far, that in mass media, Disney princesses was such a like highly touted thing. And just the idea of not even just a Disney princess, but the idea of being a king or a queen or royalty or a prince or princess, it has wrapped up into it these kind of delusions that if you're a prince or a princess, you're just so full of grace, you're a really good person, you're really kind and elegant. But what's really interesting is when it comes to like the world we have today, that's really not realistic. Like most people aren't like that. And actually, we were watching a movie that I would also recommend called Barton Fink.
Oh, yeah.
About actually screenwriting and stuff like that. And he was talking about how in that movie, they were talking about how movies about, quote, regular people, like people who weren't in tremendous positions of power, right, over other people. People are just working, they have their own families, they're just trying to find love. Like those movies started to become popular. And I think, in my opinion, started to finally like break down this idealization of power, and it's generational, right? It doesn't happen in 1 year, and it takes generations for cultures to change. But I thought that was so fascinating that, with Disney, they wrote on that whole trope of monarchy, kings and queens and royalty and the crown, and getting people all wrapped up into that. But I really loved seeing, maybe it's partially due to the internet, the rise of cell phones and computers, and more people are able to, buy a camera. Cameras have gotten cheaper, a lot of technologies. So you have, as commies like to say, the means of production, more and more cheap and surrounded. Like, there are more content creators out there, which is really cool, and people able to make movies. Why are you drinking so much?
Because
Evan. Evan, I'm never gonna finish a thought.
It's okay. I'm just getting it started.
I finished a thought. But yeah. So anyway, cheers, guys. I don't even know if you guys are listening. TZ's like, Philosopher's going to be so drunk. I know. I don't even know if am I just blabbering? But I guess I got 3 shots.
You got 3 shots because I see Evan 1.
Just kidding. Nah, I don't.
You got the 29, the 30, and the 30.
1.
Woo.
2.
Yeah, Evan said when you have the kids in your ordinary dude, they give you money just to tax you for later. Yeah, right. Oh my goodness, isn't that the truth? It's like you work and then it's like, oh, here's money. Oh, just kidding. Give it back to the government. It's that's some real robbery.
Cheers, Evan. I'm like sad. I'm like, can I do this?
I think we're gonna get you some water.
You know that guy who's on a bench? You know that meme of the guy who's on a bench and he has like a mustache and he looks, I think he's like Mexican, and like he's balding on the top and he has like long black hair. And he's just like kind of overweight.
Wait, what are you talking about again?
There's like a funny meme template where this guy is like sitting at a bus stop. He's like on a bench. He's like looking down. And then like the meme just keeps zooming out.
Oh. Are you talking? Wait. Now I'm confused.
Anyway, that's me.
It's not the El Chapo meme, right?
I don't know.
Now I'm confused.
I don't know what it's called. I'm just trying to keep up with Evan.
Evan is quite the challenge here with his
not
abilities.
Is it El Chapo on a bench? Is that what
That's
El Chapo?
Hey, I am such a meme expert. It really.
That's Pablo Escobar.
Oh, yeah. I'm impressed myself sometimes.
Are you kidding me? Wait.
It comes with the territory.
The drug dealer.
This is the one kind of you're talking about, right?
Oh wait, is that him in prison?
It's not. I think it's someone playing him, if I'm not mistaken, right? So
I was like, how did they get that theatrical shot of him? Yeah, I'm drunk. Pho is pho, bro. Took the brunt.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, pho is pho, bro. Took the brunt. I want some pho right now. That's all I'm saying. All right, throw me any question. Oh, Evan, you guys done?
Yes.
You want me to get? Oh,
I have the capacity.
If you go on the anti-state campaign, that's when I'll do more. Otherwise, on the super chats, I'm done. It's too easy.
It's too easy. Too easy. All right, here I'll put the anti-state.
Get yourself a nice perk. You can get your a name credit in the music video. Or do you? Oh my God, another one!
He just did another one. You know what that means?
Well, I already said I'm not going to do it.
No, it's too late. He went through with it. That's reverse consent. It's called consent through time. It's time.
Your profile picture so unassuming, Evan. Are you a Fed? Are you just trying to get us? Tell me. Go on. Like, be real. Go on.
Wouldn't that be like the funniest? Like, no concept, no, like independently. Obviously, Evan's not, but
it's a Fed super chatting.
Wait, right. They're like, here's our way to get.
He gets woke on the. He's like, oh my God, I went to public school. Oh my God, taxation is theft.
That'd be great, actually.
I've seen some memes.
You wake up someone who's a Fed.
That's funny. It is. It's a good.
But imagine if someone like a CIA agent or something had like, oh, this is the way to get them. We'll get them so drunk they'll die. They're like, you know what I mean? And like, that'll do it.
They're so dumb. They don't have a way to.
They have no limits.
Right.
They won't stop taking shots.
These dumb capitalists.
Well, you're right.
Oh, that's sweet. That's your wife. Yeah, the Fed is horrible, Evan. I agree. All right, cheers. Well, all I'm saying is if these weren't mini shots, I'd be screwed.
Oh, you would be dead. Yeah. Yeah, if these were full-size chefs.
I like what William said. He said, I think it's both telling and extremely sad that I make a post about monetary inflation or the mechanisms of monetary creation and get about zero reaction. If I mention the Little Mermaid, the comment section is on fire. I know.
Right, it's true.
It's just the way it is, right? I mean, often, I don't know. Everyone's, if you're on, Facebook, whatever social media network, Minds, whatever, you're following who you're post to. That's part of it, right? So I don't know. Like, is it just your friends and family that's on your list, William? Or is it like, are you like a public figure posted? For me, like, I can make a post about monetary creation. It gets pretty good likes, but that's because a lot of people. What? You don't like how I said that? Why are you making?
Oh gosh! Wow.
I can't even speak anymore.
Every time I drink this, I feel like I'm drinking like gasoline or something.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Now I know. Or if you post about like puppies. But I think that's just like psychologically, right? Aren't most people pretty busy, especially if you're talking about like your own friends and family? I'm sure they're mostly just working in this economy, trying to keep up with inflation.
Well, it's hard because most people are ignorant.
Maybe you could get them talking about. Maybe they should, or maybe they're tired. I don't know. Maybe they think
a lot of people don't even know what it means. They're like they don't even have the concepts. It's like what's the Fed? Because it's true. It's so ignored.
That wasn't taught to me in school.
Yeah, it's so ignored.
I never learned about the Federal Reserve actually, which is really interesting in the public school.
Yeah,
so interesting. Nothing about sound money. Capitalism is bad. We need the government because they're snake oil salesmen who are just gonna lie to you.
You'll get that all day.
Even though the FDA will lie to you and approve things that are unsafe.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Am I done?
No, you got one more shot.
Oh my god.
At least according to the last update I saw.
All right.
You playing the song you drink? Uh-oh.
This is the song we're gonna shoot in New York City.
Pho has passed the point of no return.
You cannot stop me. You cannot hold me. You cannot take me down.
You get me drunk, you get karaoke, okay? That's what you get. That's what you get.
You cannot take me down.
I am the anti-state. You're my laws. I will break. I am the anti-state. Cheers. Inspiration is my fate. I am the anti-state. Through my resistance, I am safe. Yeah, so this is what, go in the club with me and Jack is like. We sing our libertarian songs. We're like, yeah, fuck the mask order. Yeah. Everyone here's from New York because it's Florida and everyone's from New York. It's weird.
Well, Evan just got 3 more shots. So
oh my God. I don't know what to do. My voice is going to get higher and higher. That's what. I'm just going to make all kinds of voices. What voice do you want me to do, Evan? You might as well, with every super chat you do, give me an accent to do. Something. Or ask me a question. Something. I like how Imperial. Okay, this is a good comment. I have to stop. I could make these kids drink all night. That's so funny. Oh, these kids. How old are you? Like, I don't know. 22? Just kidding. I don't know. You have a wife, so you're confident. Okay, Imperial Guard says, if the founding fathers had social media, they probably wouldn't just be posting cat videos. I agree. They'd be like, taxation is fuck the British crown. And they'd be liking those red coat memes. You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh yeah, abolish the IRS, abolish the ATF. They'd be all up in it. Some of the founding fathers, like Patrick Henry. Some of them were really anarchists. Some of them are like, like Ben Franklin was like, he was more like revengeful, in my opinion, based on what I heard, that he was trying to be part of the British Parliament, or he was in it, right? And
who are we talking about?
Ben Franklin.
Oh, he
like wanted to be part of the British
royalty and the
monarchy
nobles and stuff. He actually was a simp for them, and they didn't like him. They rejected him, so he came to America.
Right. So then he just conveniently was like, "All right, now
he's like,
I'll fight for liberty here."
Yeah.
But,
all right. So I just refilled a set of glasses.
Oh my gosh, how many? 3?
Yeah.
1242. 1242, 12. How'd you do that? 1242.
He's got lightning fast.
Okay, you must have your payment on like autos. Okay.
All right, here.
All right.
Here we go.
I don't know if you're drinking with us, but either way, cheers.
If he's drinking with us, he had full shots. He would be dead.
True.
He would be no longer with us. Actually,
for liberty.
I would be dead too, honestly, because the amount of shots that we've had, if these weren't mini shots, these were full-size shots, we're in the realm of like 12 or 13 shots, I think.
Let's do a country accent next. Ready?
Which actually, now I think about it, how are you alive?
Let's do a southern accent. Ready? Am I alive? That's your what's it called?
In times like these, what you really
what's the word? Implied premise or some
implied premise?
I can't do this. I couldn't write a book right now. I couldn't code. I couldn't program. I mean, I could code. I can code. Never mind.
You can code. Drunk code. That'd be really funny if you did drug programming.
It's like an infinite loop. Oh no, this app's running fine. It's like infinite.
Could be something. I said that could be something.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Cheers to Evan, especially, for showing me my.
I want you to end the the creature from Jekyll Island. It's time to
get out of debt. I need these feds out of my head. I want you to end the Fed. All right, I get it now. I got to take some shots for the anti-state music. I see why people take shots. All right, I'm always trying to make Jack laugh. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
You got a shot over there. What are you doing?
Oh, there's one more shot.
Oh, there's.
I was just trying to leave.
You can't leave.
Well,
we're doing Drunk Python next.
This is programming, folks. You hear that? You can't leave. I thought I could leave. I thought I'm libertarian. I thought I got body and property rights. You're saying I can't leave?
Not yet. You got duties.
You got duties. Just kidding.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting to drink that as much.
That's a lot. All right, thanks, Evan. Evan says, meh, libertarian movement, social anti, like the establishment straight up lies to you. Yeah.
They're always lying to everybody.
Just for power. It's just a new like cultural thing. They're all just trying to take over your kids, take over your house.
Team TJ.
Like they already do.
Yeah. Whoo.
Oh, Team TJ?
Voluntarily imposed.
Oh, wait.
Wait, you know who that is, of course.
Thomas Jefferson.
Okay, I was like, I don't think you're that drunk that you can
Patrick Henry.
not remember.
I was
Thomas
about to be
Jefferson.
like, I was going through all the names. TD, Thaddeus Russell,
No.
Thomas Jefferson.
Thaddeus Russell.
I wasn't thinking founding father. I was just thinking names.
Names.
All right, duty. Imperial laugh. See, he has a little smirk. He gets it. All right. Cool. Ask us another question. Peaceful parenting, anything, public school,
Drunk Python.
logic, math,
I have a
science,
right now.
electrical engineering. We can do anything.
I think this is the most drunk you've been on a stream
Yeah,
in a
dude.
while.
Yeah. You can thank Seven. You can thank Sevens for that. Hogan's. Are you related to Hulk Hogan? No? Okay.
I don't think so. Hulk Hogan is very big around our area. I've actually been by his house once, just driving by. He has a house.
Where's he live?
Tell me. I can't remember if it's like by Indian Rocks.
I could Google it.
But well,
why is it
then
called
he had a
Indian
divorce after
Rocks? That's racist.
His sex tape came out.
You can't name out anything after anything anymore. It's gonna be racist. Evan, it's all my fault. Yeah, dude. Look how red I am. I'm a tomato. You think this is good luck? You think? I'm just kidding. All right, Evan. If we ever meet you in person, I don't know where.
Probably New York is the most likely place ever, honestly. So
I don't know if you're near New York.
We'll let him know when we go to New York for this music video shoot, if he can make it.
Yeah, Evan, if you're near New York, it'd be awesome to see you for that. That'd be awesome. Let
Will
us
be.
get you some drinks for a change.
Yeah, right. For real. Whoo. Yeah, I'm just glad
Yeah,
we
what
have
a
these mini shots
stream.
because otherwise it would be dead.
We talked about a lot of things, you know. We talked about Little Mermaid, conditioning of children, get your kids out of public school,
Yeah.
peaceful parenting, critical thinking.
Yeah. That is, I mean,
Life's
it's
hard,
awesome.
you know, but don't worry. You're not alone.
Definitely not. Hey, he
I mean,
says,
you're
I do live
alone,
and why?
but you're not alone. You know what I mean?
definitely
Like,
not.
you're not the only one experiencing this reality. But you are technically alone in your struggle. Technically, no one else has your brain or your body, and ultimately, you're the only one that can choose to eat good things, eat healthy, you know, get sun, get fresh air,
Not take too many shots at once.
not take too many shots at once, given the social pressure.
We don't
Evan
have-
Hogan. No, I'm just
No.
kidding. Yeah, so you know, it's all up to you.
Yeah.
I think compassion is key. Compassion and reality.
Mhm.
Philosophy plus compassion. That's how we'll heal the world. We need to be able to speak with each other on the same field, right? We need to all be able to understand and be able to figure out what reality is and discern truth from falsehood. And compassion is also nice too, because that's what leads to, you know, us feeling like it's okay to just live and learn.
Yeah. Well, and I think that ties into what we were talking about earlier too, with just the idea. I'm not like mad at anybody for their reactions and stuff like that with the Disney stuff and all this other stuff. I feel compassion for these kids.
I'm curious,
I feel sad.
what they're looking for. That's what I
Right.
was saying
Yeah,
earlier.
I
I
feel
was
sad.
like,
Mhm.
okay, their goal is they want their child to have to be strong, to be confident. That's the most superficial
Right.
thing I can
And to
see
be seen.
when it comes from a prince or princess, to be seen as
Mhm.
great. Now, it's just hard because, in my opinion, most people in the world, and from what I've seen, don't really develop virtue. Like, yeah, they're just stuck in a state of hypnosis, paying their taxes, reacting, shaming their kids, yelling at their spouse, calling their spouse names, storming off, you know, shutting the door behind them and not talking anymore, and then pretending like everything's okay, or being violent and hitting, like, you know, all these things is like what we see and what we really want people to change. And it's just sad and tragic that most people live out their whole lives like that, and they never get a chance to really experience like conscious happiness, like consciousness, like just being in the moment, realizing like and accepting that you're here, and just loving yourself, you know, and just appreciating the experience that we have just to be alive. Yeah, and plus the ability to create cool things. You know, we live in an era where so much technology and has been discovered that we don't have to worry about air conditioning or travel or airplane technology. Like, we can live in different places of the world, live far away from people we love, but also travel pretty quickly to see them and spend time with them. And it's just the question is, how do we keep these good things going, right? And that's mine and Jack's whole passion about all this, is we see such beauty and good in the world that we have seen and experienced, but also such horrible things. Like, we were showing the numbers of genocide by governments. You know, as much as there's beauty in the world, there's also tremendous pain and suffering every single day, every minute. There's billions of lives in the world, you know. So for us, we've spent our lives up until this point, and even before we met, just trying to think about, like, what is happiness? How do we get there? You know, what is liberty and why is that important? What is peace? How do we have love and prosperity? You know, like, it's a good question. What is love?
That's what Evan asks.
What is love? Love's nice. Happy.
Well, what is love? How would you define love? Baby, don't hurt me.
That's a song.
Don't hurt me no more.
Right? So strong. But yeah, I just want to finish that thought of like, oh no, you're good. Of just like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I'm drunk.
So what is love?
I feel more
while
connected.
you're drunk.
What is love?
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I think love is like you really care about someone's experience and you want them to feel like happy and healthy and whole, I guess. Like I guess love is like, I don't know. I guess it requires that you may love yourself, I think. Yeah. How would you define love? I have different ways. It's interesting. I'm still trying to come up with that unique definition.
Not just like the irresistible attraction to someone's virtue kind of thing.
Oh, right. Love is an involuntary response to virtue if you're virtuous. That's by Stefan Molyneux. Well, if you're not virtuous, then what? What does that mean? I don't know. I've seen, I guess I just try to think of like when I thought I experienced love. You know, it was like my own parents, for example, my grandma or my cousins, some of my cousins and siblings. Like the love was like just like they see you and they, you know, recognize that you have your own unique experience and they care about the experience you're having and they want to help you improve and they're willing to sit with you and understand your current experience. I guess that's what I see love is. I don't know. It seems interesting, but I don't think you could give that to someone without loving them. I don't think you would be you know, wanting them to have a good life if you didn't love them in some way. Like I feel like I have a general love for you could say most people in the world, because I guess I have this, I don't know everybody, I don't know all billions of people in the world, but I have this, I guess, conceptualization of that, you know, each of us were born as individual people without like kind of, you know, without any ideologies yet. You know, all of us were born, in my opinion, having babysat many kids, cousins, siblings, strangers, kids. Like when I worked as a babysitter, like I just, the common theme that I see with children is they're innocent. They just full of curiosity and desire for knowledge about the world. And it isn't until they're put through some sort of indoctrination, whether it's by their own parents and family or public school, that their desire for learning and their openness for connection is just destroyed. And they become, like I said, in a state of hypnosis. They're just like worshiping people who are quote unquote pretty for superficial reasons and going along with the most heinous policies, you know, like the war on drugs or whatever, war overseas, whatever. So, yeah.
Now, see about like
cool. How's everyone doing?
With love, I definitely think that there's, you know, like Beta
was saying Evan does live in New York
as a feeling, but
wait,
as
did
a
you hear that?
choice. Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, cool. Okay,
but I
Evan.
didn't say anything until
it's on.
He said something.
Right. Okay. Well, he did say something. You see?
I saw. It was way back. Way back.
Well, I was talking.
But yeah, like the idea to me of love is having a continuous and deep interest in wanting to emotionally connect with somebody and see them both, I would say, emotionally, mentally, physically, and otherwise prosper in their lives. Like you want to see the best for the person, and it's a continuous focus of connection.
Yeah. I like that. So a consistent, continued desire
for connection and betterment of the other person.
Yeah. I don't think it's, I think it's, well, do you think it's a choice? Like Beto is saying love starts as a feeling, so almost like puppy love, what people would call puppy love or limerence, just in a state of like, oh, you're excited because it's new, but you don't even know them yet. versus like, okay, if you
Yeah, there'd be
stay with them, then it's a
infatuation.
continuous choice.
Right. Yeah. That's, to me, that's just more like an initial attraction of infatuation. But
Yeah.
I think there is a conscious element because you choose it even when you don't feel like emotionally, like if you're tired or you're just frustrated, you choose to show compassion and desire for connection with the person.
Right.
Mm.
Or with strangers online, like when you're live streaming.
Right. But I haven't said virtue and anarchy. It's, well, that can be a part of your virtues, is the idea of wanting to have non-initiation of force and have things based in consent. Obviously, love has to be consensual for it to be love. Otherwise, it is force. You know what I mean? And then eventually, it can, if it's physical, then it can lead to things like rape. So obviously, it has to be something that's rooted in consent to be accepted. Someone can feel it unilaterally. They can show love for somebody, but for it to be reciprocated, there has to be a consensual element to there.
Thanks, Imperial Guard says that's poetry. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. Consistent. I would say desire is there. But... Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think love, though, can only happen if you really love yourself.
How come?
I think, like, if you don't, I guess, I don't know. I have this thought that, like, if you don't love yourself, you could be, seeking others to feel good about yourself. And you don't really love them because it's really just, seeking a way to feel better about yourself. You rather like how they make you feel because you yourself don't love yourself. And then that can be the cause for a lot of relationships. Like, they're labeled as like codependent relationships where you're not with each other because you want to be, but it's because you think that you cannot survive. Like you would just be less without this person, less of a person, like not good enough. It's all based around toxic shame. So I guess that's why I think, like, to really experience love for another person, you have to first like accept and love yourself. I think.
It can be difficult to model it.
It might be hard to just come up with a rule like that, but
I would say it would be difficult to model it well if you don't even know how to model it for yourself. I would say that's probably, to me, like the most clear thing that I personally would see, is that if you don't know how to show love to yourself, it can be very difficult to show love to others, because a lot of times people do project whatever it is that they don't like about themselves, or resentment or belittling or shaming to others when they don't have that that self-love first.
Yeah. Or like Matthew said, if you want to highlight his comment, it says, if you don't, like, just summarize what I said, if you don't know how to love yourself, you kind of look for that in others. Because, like, right, if you don't love yourself, then what's going on for you every day, right? You're not good enough. You don't feel confident. So you are then attracted to those that just make you feel confident. And it may not be making you feel confident for the right reasons, right? They may be using you, they might just be saying superficial things like, oh, you're so beautiful, but it's nothing to do with virtue and character. And so it distracts you from fixing real issues in your life that leads you to not love yourself. Like, oh, maybe you have relationships to resolve with your parents or your siblings or whatever. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll summarize, Matthew.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'm at my limit. I don't know.
You did hit your limit.
I think I had like an equivalent of, in terms of full shots, probably like 3 or 4 full shots, or 3.
You definitely had
over time.
More than you should.
If it was all at once, that'd be too much.
Yeah.
It was over what?
Because it was over 3 hours.
An hour?
It
was over an hour because we started like an hour.
You probably had the equivalent of at least 3 shots. Yeah. Like, well, probably closer to 4. But for you, 2 shots will get you like drunk in an hour for yourself. Like 2
all right,
shots.
Well, everyone knows. So now the Fed who's after me will know how to kill me.
Here's 2 shots. Back to back.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Well, how should we end this? We've talked about so many good topics, and just want to say thanks everyone for hanging out. It's been really fun. And Evan, all the super chats. MVP, that's awesome. You're in New York, so we'll definitely hit you up when we're there. Stay in touch. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And to everybody else, again, thank you so much for supporting us on the
Yeah,
campaign.
and thanks for the good questions. So we had great questions.
Yeah, we're
It's fun
excited to
discussing.
just keep it going, keep doing more creative content, and to just try to inspire people to think outside the state, think about what either they can do to create, or to think about ways that they can get themselves in more support of different, awesome liberty-oriented, peaceful parenting-oriented resources, projects, and the like, whether it's Tuttle Twins or Eric July or unschooling, whatever it is. Like, it's just, you don't have to be everything, you don't have to do everything, but do something. That's what matters, is that incrementally doing something. So
Definitely.
yeah,
It really matters. You don't know who you're gonna influence. Just know that. Like, you really don't.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, that's sad, Evan.
Yeah. And that's true. It's that that tragedy and that trauma of having stuff with parents and family, and that's why we do what we do, because it's thinking
cycles, man, trying to
cycles
end
of
it.
violence, trying to end it.
Generations.
Right.
I mean, humans have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. Violence has been around, and
Right.
it's only been the product of the past century that you have concepts of self-knowledge, self-love, psychology, healing, trauma, like all
Right.
of these things is discovery. So yeah, thanks everybody. I agree, Evan was awesome, MVP. Other people are hanging out too. Beto Distrafa, thanks so much for coming out again.
Yeah.
And supporting, and continuing to be a fiducer. You're awesome.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody. Yes, never give up. TZ Burton, freedom is cool.
It's super cool. And right now I feel super free and loosey goosey after all those.
Good.
So
All right. Well, stay tuned, everybody. We'll probably have another live stream next Friday.
Or Saturday or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, and then another one. So you'll see a couple more this month for sure.
Just trying to lead up to
then
the
we'll be
campaign.
hunkering down for some projects. And we'll probably live stream again after that. Maybe November, December, let you know of any new events or new projects coming up.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, and thanks so much everybody for hanging out. It's been really fun, and I'm gonna go pass out.
Yeah, more drunk fun to come.
Actually get some food probably. Okay.
All right.
Bye everybody.
Good night, y'all. See you all later.
Take